well met. Welcome to the final chapter of the second season of Isekai Realms. It's going to be, we've gotten ourselves into a bit of a pickle and a big mess, so we'll see how that sorts out. I am Eric Scott to be playing Elric, paladin version of me in the Realms, trying to be lawful good and learning from my various mistakes. Wielder of Vindicator and possibly the first Shadowbane, unless there was a previous Shadowbane. The lore's unclear on this. Anyway, I'm looking forward to this. Take it away, Allie.
Hi, everybody. I am Alexander Pitchford, or Allie for short. I am playing Amara Valerian, which is myself turned into an elf. And I'm a writer, game designer, TTRPG streamer, and I'm looking forward to what shenanigans are coming in this exciting finale.
So many shenanigans.
Hey, I'm Rhiannon Held. I write urban fantasy as Rhiannon Held and space opera as RZ Held. I am playing myself as myself. I have two dice partners to tell you about. Norse Foundry specializes in metal dice. When you roll them, it feels like you're skillfully smashing the rigid armor of the monster horde. You can find their dice and accessories at norsefoundry.com. Phoenix Dice is named for the creature that rises from the ashes because they use all recycled materials. You can find their dice and accessories at phoenixdice.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm Joel Everett, playing myself, recently undwarfed, as a Myrmidon fighter. Usually one of your mods in chat under the handle Rumpus Imperator. And while you're watching this, I'm probably there now. So, Randy?
Hi, I'm Randy Henderson. I'm playing Randonius Hendersonius Maximus Imperius Esquire III, and Bard and Cleric. And I'm an author and gamer, and welcome. And back to you, Chris.
All right, thank you very much. We've hit Esquire. You went to law school since the last time we hung out?
Absolutely.
All right.
He is a
It's
bard,
longer
so,
every
yeah.
time.
I'm a jack of all. I have a 5% chance of knowing everything you know, Chris.
That's right.
It's true. I mean, yeah, I have a 5% chance of knowing everything I know. So we're on the same footing.
Yep.
And Joel, I think the technical term is de-dwarfing. So there you go.
Okay, sure. I got taller.
Okay, you did.
Maybe
You sure
stretching.
did.
Anyway.
Yeah, whatever.
Intolerant.
And tolerating, yeah, that's
Bigoting.
like the
Bigoting,
yeah,
here we go.
and bigoting also good. Anyway, so by way of where did we leave our heroes? We are at the Laughing Beholder Tavern on the Rock of Brawl, and Allie, somewhere along the way, I emailed you a map of that place, which we can show folks at home at the appropriate moment when I'm giving a recap description of it. But if you want to send it around to the players in Discord, that's good too. And you were here to meet two people. One who you are presently meeting with, and one who you are still waiting to arrive. Because this is a medieval fantasy world, nobody gave you a 2:34 p.m. So it's kind of like, okay, I guess they said today. So there's a degree of waiting that goes with that. And in our last episode, were a multitude of what I'll describe as truth bombs that were dropped on all of you about, Earthers, other Earthers. We had speculation about why you were all here, how you might leave, etc., etc., etc. First by Large Luigi, the owner of this place, a omniscient, well, not quite omniscient, but close, beholder, who since skedaddled and has not been around since he dropped those particular truth bombs. And then by KTG, Chris the Grey, my alter ego in this game. And where we left off was actually in that chat with Chris the Grey. It was about to wrap up. But before we do that, I'll simply say, let me give a brief description of the Laughing Beholder so that you can, at home, and again, perhaps here, visualize what this place is like. It's oddly shaped, somehow spacious yet still cozy, with round wooden tables scattered across its polished floor. Lanterns hang from the ceiling around the room, emitting a soft magical glow that casts a number of lingering shadows. The design of the room is vaguely like that of the body and eyes of a beholder. The entry hall is the mouth, with about 6 tables strewn about. At the center of the room is a large octagonal oaken bar, its central eye, of the room, with patrons sitting around it, trading stories and drinks. And around that central eye sits a series of smaller alcove-style rooms, the sort of like eye stalks of the beholder. Each alcove branching off from the main room provides a degree of privacy, some more than others. You're in the room with actual doors that shut, with their colored stone floor of each room indicating the different zones of the tavern for, private gatherings or reserved parties. There only appear to be 2 exits from this room. The front doors, the double front doors, which are pretty robust, and a hole slightly bigger than beholder size in the ceiling above the central bar, which is where Luigi was, the central bar, and then where you saw him disappear up into, which is that hole in the ceiling. It's preternaturally dark in that hole, so there's probably all kinds of magics. I wouldn't think a beholder would want to leave the back door wide open, so to speak. So going out that way might appear a bit more difficult than it seems.
So there's no door to, say, a kitchen or something?
Nope. Good question as to where the hell that food comes from, Joel. Good question as where the hell that food comes from. Maybe it's a beholder eye power. No one really seems to know.
That's the eye stock the beholder never seems to fire. It's the create food and water one.
Boom, boom. But the patrons aren't complaining, so nobody
hit
cares.
People with baked goods.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a delightful eye stock. I
It
can
would.
see. Okay, we're going down a path we can't go down. Okay.
Let's go.
Anyway, we have 2 important NPCs here about. One of them is a rascally little ferret, Ferris. You've taken to calling him, and he scampered off before KTG showed up because, if you recall, the 2 of them weren't really supposed to run into each other. And so he may return when KTG departs, but we'll see. And then Jamal, your sort of force ghost friend, who is a servant of Finder alongside of Randy, who has been with you through the season and who is kind of watching your back at this particular moment. Allie is out in the main room, keeping an eye on the front doors, waiting for the other guests that we're expecting to arrive. Jamal is keeping an eye on the main room and Allie, so to serve as sort of like an in-between, because if something happens in there, Jamal can come into the room that you're in and warn you all. Well, warn Randy, who can then warn you all, because no one else can see her but him. And so that's where we are. You left off in the conversation with KTG in the purple room with him saying, "I don't die like you die." And Joel saying, what? or what does that mean? Could you be a bit more specific? So we will pick up right there. So Joel, what do you want to ask when KTG says, "I don't die like you die," in a very casual, offhanded manner?
So you have died before then?
Oh yeah, several times.
Okay. And you were then raised?
You see, that's the "don't die like you die." We talked about the movie Highlander, right?
We're familiar. Did we?
I think we did it
I'm
once.
familiar
Yeah.
with it. Okay.
Just a short while ago, in fact. This is the NPC, not the DM.
Okay.
And
Sorry, I must have still been too mad about that goddamn ferret.
It feels like a month, even though it's only been minutes. It's
right,
weird.
it does. It just feels like forever. Anyway, so yes, we talked about the various generations of people from Earth, generations being kind of a term that we appended to them. Those of us of the first and second generations, we can only be killed by each other. So beyond that, we're functionally immortal. If I die, this body dies to the hands of one of you, or some foe hereabouts, or even my own hand, which I've done tactically in the past. Ouch, but can be very useful. We jump, our souls, I guess you'd call them, jump into the bodies of other beings that fit our general race and class nearby. And we find ourselves inhabiting them until our original bodies are raised. Makes us a bit more durable than you are, if you will. But when we're killed by one of our own, we stay dead. There is no bringing us back from that.
Sounds like you're speaking from experience.
Yes, insofar as I have killed others from Earth. I haven't died to one, not yet.
Doesn't
Other
Highlander,
questions?
don't you take in their power?
Yes. Although it's not quite like that. We become physically stronger, faster, more constitutious. In case you haven't noticed, I'm a little quicker than the average person. He'll say that and snap his fingers in what is a blurring motion that a human being would be incapable of achieving the speed necessary to do it.
So that's also a nice way of letting us know that if we got violent with you, it wouldn't take. So.
Yes. You
All
could
right,
consider
good
it
to
a
know.
friendly warning.
And we should hide behind you if anything happens.
Well, and also
sure.
he's the kind of sterling kind of guy who goes around powering up by killing people from his own world.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't start those fights,
Killing-
Rhiannon. I merely finish them.
Killing
Mhm,
other
mhm,
Earthlings who
mhm.
are presumably players from his own game. Wait, are there other people running games? Are there other dungeon masters other than your?
Yes, Joel. These people that I'm in conflict with are not people that I have ever met before, nor people who have claimed, like you, to be players of my home game at home. It seems as though there are many DMs with players in tow in the realms.
Well, I'm sure that makes it so much easier for you to be able to kill them. So my question, not
Sure.
to cut you off, Joel, but you can jump
No,
back in after
please.
this. So you're awesome, apparently. Like, you're so powerful. You can go around killing people and getting even better. What about us? What if we were no, we're gonna go home? So you think you're on top of this? Are we even needed here? What happens if we leave?
We talked about the difficulty of you going home and
Mhm.
how it might be awkward at best.
Well, so what if we decided to move to Mithranor and start a drum circle and not make choices? It's the same thing.
If you just checked out.
Yes.
That's an interesting question. Again, there's a lot of speculation around this particular issue. I mentioned my other party of adventuring friends who apparently are playing in my game, who are very much like you, although they have a different deck of deities that they're dealing with. And that prophecy that they found in Candlekeep seems to suggest you're all pretty important. And what's more, you're from the future. That's something I can't claim. And if I know the first thing, and I like to think I know the first thing about time travel fiction, it's that's usually for a reason. It's ultimately why the Chosen didn't decide to just swat us all like flies. So I tell you what.
So we know something is the implication.
Or can do something. Yes, Randy, you look like you had something you wanted to say.
Is that what I need? Yeah. So you said that the gods are have divided into a couple of camps, at least the ones in our marks, and the marks of the other players, into one that's order and creation versus chaos and destruction.
Mhm.
And that's kind of an eternal war. So what is the status of that war? And is one side kind of winning? Is one side kind of losing? And what is it that how could we affect such a global and eternal war?
And sorry, just a quick writer on that question. Is this one of the situations where if either side wins, we all lose? We're all stuck in stasis or oblivion?
Yeah, I hadn't considered that one, Joel. Thanks for giving me that to think about at night.
Okay.
In answer to your question, Randy, I've got a theory. I'm going to do what I do. So, did you ever see the movie Terminator?
Yeah.
Okay.
How many times? Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah. The first one. There's multiple. They're working on a Terminator 2, right?
Would you be? No, I'm not going to give you that existential dread. Continue.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, no problem. I only can receive so much existential dread in the course of an evening. So anyway.
Believe me, you appreciate me not telling you this.
Thank you. I appreciate you not telling me that. So, Randy, my theory, somebody won. And this is a Hail Mary, last-ditch pass to change the outcome. That's my theory.
Well, everything's not destroyed, and everything isn't complete chaos.
Oh, they
so-
didn't win now, Randy.
Oh,
They won in the future. But whatever is happening now must have influenced that outcome, because this seems to be where all of these people are clustering around. That, or there's some big event coming up in the future of the realms within the next few years.
Well, that's always possible, isn't it?
given what we've encountered thus far, if we were to carry the Terminator comparison forward, then the tiefling lady we met and then was killed and had a couple of children would be Sarah Connor, probably in that. But and then the children play some role in. Oh, I just was trying to think like of what we've encountered thus far and what we have any kind of influence over. It seems
But
like
we don't want to be boring this very important wizard with all our boring past now.
Right.
Do
For
we?
our discussion about Terminator.
So much sarcasm coming off of you. You're right.
You are smart. You spotted it.
You know, some things are so obvious they can be spotted from space. And he'll gesture into the sky. There are three quick points I want to make to the three of you before such time as I skedaddle off to deal with other appointments, being so busy and important and all.
Yeah.
Are there
Thing
four
one.
of us here? Who's he not talking to?
Thing,
Anyway.
Thing one. This world is, whether it's true or not true, for all intents and purposes, real. So other people don't necessarily have that point of view, and they treat the place like it's their own personal theme park. But I'm of the view that actions have consequences here in terms of your immortal soul. So something to think about. You might not want to treat it like a video game. Point two.
Elric nods grimly.
Thinking back fondly on some poop. from
Fondly.
episode 2.
Very fondly.
Yeah. The second thing is, I mentioned there's another group of Earthers that I'm friends with that are playing in my game. I am not going to introduce them to you right now. They have had a difficult week. I just had to save them all from the costs of their own stupidity. And so now is not the time. And I'm not quite sure, I'll use a Ghostbusters reference, how crossing the streams would work there. So till I have a better sense of that, I think we're going to keep you on this side and them on that side. Not forever, but for now.
A quick question though. If it sounds like you're on the verge of skedaddling, your friend last time had modern weaponry. Are you the source of that?
Oh, hell no. Well, I mean, yes. So I think I told you not too long ago that if you saw people with modern firearms, run, right? That the DM confirms that he did in fact say this the last time we played. There are a group of Earthers that we affectionately locally refer to as the Gun Guys. I didn't come up with the name; it was somebody else. They seem to have found a way to get around the prohibitions here on the realms against the use of firearms, and all signs point to the Shadow Weave powering them. I got my hands on one of their weapons through a mechanism that Rhiannon can probably guess at. And one of my companions is able to use it. And so that's why it was in her hands when you saw her left. Again, you'll meet her someday, just not today. So last
we
tidbit.
never. Most of us.
Well,
never.
I mean, in a more pleasant surrounding without firearms pointed at you is what I'm trying to say. So last thing I wanted to point out before I have to skedaddle off to this meeting of my own people, they should be waking up about now, and I don't want them to wonder where I was. I may be full of bluster and ego. It wouldn't be me if I wasn't. But at the end of the day, if what I saw in Eric's mind is true, you're my players too. And so that means that there's some kind of a bond between us. And I'm not going to just ignore you or leave you to your own devices. I don't know if I would use the phrase mentor, or even really yet the phrase friends, despite the fact that Eric tells me he's known me for almost 15 years.
Don't worry, you only get better over time.
Yes, like a fine wine. But I'm happy to keep the lines, and he's going into a pouch at his waist, producing a small stone of communication open between us and doing what I can to assist you and guide you. This seems appropriate. He'll hand it to you, Rhiannon.
Yeah.
It's a small stone about the size of a 20-sided die, and it has a face, like with the mouth wide open on it. It's like carved into the shape of a face. He'll say, that's what's known colloquially, a word I can't pronounce. As,
colloquially.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. As a sending stone. They come in pairs. I have its matching stone. It's been expended for this 24-hour period in the desperate flight that we engaged in not too long ago when I was rescuing them all from certain doom. But in a day or so, you should be able to use it again. If you concentrate on its twin and think in your mind of 25 words you wish me to hear, I'll hear them and can reply back within about 10 minutes time with 25 words of my own. I can also initiate that communication once within that same 24-hour period. Make sense?
Yep. I'm familiar with that spell.
Does the 24 hours run from midnight, dawn, sunset? When's it reset?
Use of the item.
Okay.
My best guess is we used that about 8 hours ago. So somewhere around 16 hours from now, again, it should be useful to you. He's now looking around the room like he's studying it. Well, of course, he'll say. This place seems to be warded against teleportation. So it appears as though I'll actually have to walk outside. Annoying, because I was planning a dramatic exit. But still, I'd say it was a pleasure. Long pause to see if anyone else agrees.
But you won't?
I was waiting to see if you all thought it might be, but that's okay.
As difficult as it sometimes is, Chris, I do appreciate seeing you.
That's good to hear, Eric. Perhaps we'll end up being friends after all.
Perhaps.
Till swords part, enjoy the heal. It's quite good. And he'll head towards the doors from this room to the main room.
One more thing before you go. Do you have a way
Stop.
for us to get back to Toril?
If that's where you would like to go, I should be able to teleport you all there. I need a little bit more rest before I can achieve it, so let's call it tomorrow.
Okay. I mean,
use that
gotta
spell
memorize
I gave
more
you.
we haven't
spells.
talked about where we want to go next, but
Again,
No,
I'm
but
happy
all
to
right.
help. That's easy enough to do.
okay.
All right, so if there's nothing else then. And he's opening the doors to depart. He will stroll out looking up. As he strolls out looking up, two things. Thing one, Rhiannon.
Mhm.
A very interesting man indeed. I wonder what would have happened had I ended up in his head.
Heaven forfend.
And because he's looking up as he's walking out of the room instead of looking down, he'll miss a very nimble, small silver-furred ferret that will take the opportunity of him opening the doors to scamper in before he closes them behind him. Said ferret will go rushing up to your shoulder and climb into place. And you are now alone. Allie, I'll get to you outside the room in a moment. Okay. Go ahead. Moment to talk amongst yourselves.
When we can't use group chat because of Joel, right? You're out of the group chat. Okay.
Joel has locked himself out of the group chat.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Well, before we get into the deeper discussion, I just want to say, I don't know about you guys, but I woke up and like there's some new stuff crowding in my head, and one of them is apparently I can make animals talk. So if we ever want to get Ferris to talk, I can probably make that happen.
Well, apparently he can talk. He's just been holding out on us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
His head is pivoting back and forth between you as you're having this
Don't you look at
conversation.
me like that, weasel. You've been holding out on us. We're not cool right now.
He looks indignant about that. He doesn't like being called a weasel.
Ferris, we need some explanations. I'm sorry.
He will shrug.
No. We know you can talk now.
I anticipate a great deal of snark incoming.
He's looking around like you remember that time he made an image for you on the mirror, Rhiannon, and he sort of drew something with what was like a lipsticky type substance. He's looking around for something like that, right? Like where could I put something that these people would understand it? And B, that kind of tells you something. It kind of tells you maybe he can't talk. Maybe the vocal cords of a ferret are not designed to issue forth noises other than, or whatever noises ferrets make. Don't quote me on that one. And so hard to say. So do you want to do I have anything in my inventory or ask anybody, by the way?
Well, so I'm going to ask Ferris first off, would you consent to being subject to Randy's spell? To speak with animals.
That's the turning of the head.
I'd say do it, Randy.
I'd say do it, Randy. Randy, you're getting yourself ready. Okay, so maybe I'm going to cast this. I've never done this before, and spells are prayers, so you're going to pray to find her for the ability to Dr. Doolittle your way through this situation. And while you were doing that, now realize you've had the conversations, the last two of them, out loud, not using anything other. So your ride along obviously has been privy to those conversations. Maybe that's what that snarky business about KTG was. Well, Zephyr, the last time...
Zenith, remember.
Oh, Zenith. Well, Zenith, last time it called you Zenith was quite some time ago, and under some difficult circumstances. We've reached the end of our journey together, haven't we? I must admit, you've surprised me. It doesn't seem to care what you're saying back. It's delivering a monologue now.
Oh, boy.
A recorded monologue. Oh, no.
I thought I had you figured out. Thought I'd carve out a cozy little space in your mind, convince you to embrace me, see things my way. But no, you had to be stubborn, didn't you? Well, I suppose I shouldn't be shocked. It is fitting, really. Pride outmatched by stubborn pride. How deliciously ironic. But, I will miss our little chats. I wasn't lying when I said I enjoyed our banter. You're clever, quick-witted. I do hate to admit it, but you were a worthy opponent. Pity. Should have listened to me. Should have taken my advice. But no, always so sure you knew better. Always determined to blaze your own trail. Well, all trails come to an end. It won't hurt, Not for me, at least. I'll simply fade into nothingness, scattered to the winds. Oblivion. Painless. But you, I do hope your ending won't be too painful. I'd hate to see that fire in you snuffed out without one last spark. Goodbye, Rhiannon. I never thought I'd say this, but I'll miss you. And then it is just gone. So, Randy, you've worked out some details to try to cast this spell, but before you're able to start it, that little conversation will go on in Rhiannon's head. Is that worth saying something about? Yeah.
Well, I mean, you'll see me sort of go blank-faced talking to the marks, you recognize this by now, one hopes. And then I'm going to be like, crap, trying to make it fluoresce to see what happens. Okay.
No effect there.
Elric looks concerned.
As well
something
he
wrong?
should be.
Voice,
Summons Vindicator.
voice is like...
All right, so Vindicator will appear. Go ahead.
Voice said coming to an end. It's jumping ship. Rats from a sinking ship. Like, what's going on? Is something incoming? Like,
And let's hop outside into the main room for a moment, if we can.
See what the incoming thing is.
So, Allie, you're perched in a spot where you're designed to be able to see what's coming through the front doors and wait. You'll see the conversation wrap up between Chris the Grey and the rest of the group. You'll see him depart the room. You'll even see Ferris hop down from the bar, hover near the door, slip in the door when Chris the Grey slips out of the door, and then you'll see Chris the Grey walk across the bar. He'll look over in your direction and give you like a little wave that says, "Still know you're over there," because can't not take that opportunity to do that. And then he'll go striding across the bar and out the front doors of the room. Minute, 2 minutes at most later, those front doors will pop back open again. There's a trio of individuals who have just strode through those front doors. As those doors swing open, the chaos of the tavern seems to falter. The sounds of laughter and conversation soften, heads turn, and a wave of unease ripples through the room as these three figures stride in. At their center is a woman of striking beauty and commanding presence. Her dark, shoulder-length hair frames a face that's almost human, implacably lovely, but betraying her tiefling heritage with subtle, sinister details. Forked horns, short, sharp, and elegant, like those of a mountain goat, curve back over her head, and when her silver eyes sweep across the room, they seem to pierce through everyone they meet. Her light armor gleams faintly under the dim lantern light, dyed in shades of red so dark as to approach black. Crimson accents weave through her attire, from the clasps of her cloak to the intricate embroidery on her leather bracers. At her hips swing a pair of wands, their dark wood polished and their etched runes glowing faintly with stored power. She radiates an aura of ferocious confidence and looks every inch the consummate survivor and inveterate plotter. To her right stands a woman with sharp, fox-like features and an almost perpetual smirk. Her pale skin, tapering face seem almost ordinary at glance, but there's a predatory glint in her deep brown eyes that puts everyone looking at her on edge. She wears flowing wizardly robes in shades of red and black, the fabric shimmering faintly with protective enchantments. Her dark cloak swirls dramatically as she moves, the hem brushing the floor. Wands and spell component pouches dangle from the belts at her hips, and her hands twitch with restless energy, as though she's prepared to unleash devastation with a single flick of her fingers. Her presence feels sharp and dangerous, like a blade hidden just out of sight. On the leader's left stands a figure you instantly recognize. It's the swaggering bard from the Dark Dancer in Skullport. His darkly seductive allure is impossible to ignore, and his fiendish heritage is apparent in the subtle, unnerving details of his appearance. His bruised blue skin gives him an otherworldly feel, and the sharp, small horns on his forehead only accentuate his wicked charm. His glowing red eyes flicker with mischief and menace. He's dressed to captivate. Maroon leggings, hugging his lean frame, dark forest green vest, contrasting with his midnight black tunic, flowing blue cape cascading behind him, adding to that aura and theatrical flair. Armored bracers glint on his forearms, and a wickedly sharp-looking bastard sword rests at his side, its hilt shaped like a snarling devil. He carries himself like a predator among prey. The three figures walk boldly into the center of the room, the wizard in the group turning behind her and beginning to cast a spell. The woman at the center decides to speak.
Just quick clarification. Does she have hooves like a goat?
Well, I guess she does.
Just checking.
Uh-oh.
Yep, we definitely know who this is. Or two of them. I don't recognize the third. But
Briseis Kakistos, the Brimstone Angel, searches the room and says, "All right, Corlo, which of these wannabe adventurers is the one you put your mouth all over?"
The pretty one in the corner, pointing straight at you, Allie.
She walks
Well.
right up to you.
Oh, okay.
Boy.
Well met.
Well met. You seem to have me at a disadvantage.
I have that effect on a lot of people. She taps you right where your mark is. She goes, "Lust. That's cute."
Well,
Two things are happening, Ellie. Thing one, the wizard is casting a spell. She threw what looked like a handful of glitter at the doorway and intoned words of magic beginning with the phrase Orlacan and followed by a rhyming couplet about something about invisible walls. And for a moment, you'll see a barrier shimmer into place. The front doors are no longer available. And the second thing that will happen in that moment is an obviously panicked-looking Jamal will come scrambling into the room with the rest of you and say, "I think we have a problem. I think we have a problem."
I think we do.
Allie, look out!
I believe you were about
I
to
will
say
share that
something.
with the group. Yeah.
Okay, fair. Allie?
So just to
over
clarify,
you.
can the rest of us see this going on, or are we still in the back room?
Still in the
Until you
background.
open the doors, you won't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Come on.
Allie, go ahead. Lust, I believe, was where we left off.
it did certainly have some preconceived notions about me.
Yeah. If I were going to give you something, I would maybe pick envy.
Well, I take it my meeting's not coming.
Well, I think maybe you assumed your meeting was something it wasn't. Because I am here for you and your friend. Don't worry. You should go easy. I do need to talk to your friend, though.
Oh, I'm afraid you just missed them. They had some other business to attend to. I was lingering to wait for my meeting, but, well, plans
But
don't
there's-
go as we expect, do they?
Mhm. Not unless you plan really, really well. You seem to assume I haven't been watching this building. They haven't left here. So, are we gonna do this the easy way or the hard way?
Well,
I
I'm...
just want to talk. That's it.
Well, I suppose we can hear you out.
Take me to your friend.
Well, all right. Amara will kind of stand up
Mm-hmm.
and really, really, really hope that she's wishing she has some means of getting word to them, but she doesn't. So she will kind of pick her way across the bar room, and pause at the door. Now, I will warn you that some of my compatriots are a little quick to act.
She leans in. She goes, "Well, I hope they don't make that mistake."
Gods below, I hope they don't too.
So
You
the
should
length of that
relax.
conversation. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, I was gonna say, you should relax. You don't even want this thing anymore, do you?
I'm definitely questioning it. And she'll knock on the door. we have no prearranged signal, so she'll just
Yell
I was gonna
pineapple
ask
randomly.
the length
Yes.
of time between Jamal entered in that conversation,
Yes.
and the knock on
Was
the door.
about a
Do I have time
round.
to?
Yeah. In that round, Jamal will vomit forth information about the physical descriptions of the 3 individuals who came through the front doors.
I will
She'll point
obey that.
out she saw one of them before with you in the Dark Dancer, so she'll describe that man that's with the 3 of them, and that she realizes this must mean it's some form of a trap.
Who could have predicted?
Yeah. Although Allie's out there, or although she'll say Amara all alone with the 3 of them, so I think we probably want to help. In that round, 1 round to act. What do you want to do, Randy?
Oh, me first.
Yep.
I will cast.
Do you want me to come back to
Who
you?
is it that we think that she wants to talk to?
You don't know if she wants to talk to anyone. That
Oh,
dialogue
we don't
is
know
not-
that part. Okay.
That dialogue is not. You have not been privy to that part of the
Okay.
conversation.
Remember, we didn't
Oh.
hear Jamal, so
That's correct.
Okay. I'll just. Oh wow.
All right, I'll come back to you.
I could throw up a
Rhiannon.
protection of evil. I'll say, should I throw up a protection of evil to the group?
I already got that with the sword.
Okay. I'll just have a bless ready and call
Okay.
it that, because I don't know if this is. Hopefully, it doesn't go down.
Yeah, it
Badly.
could not be a combat. Could just be a friendly chat. Okay,
I don't
so
feel that. it'll go
Rhiannon.
well.
Well, I have the ferret pack.
You have the ferret pack.
And if it wasn't on, I'll pull it on and sort of try to push Ferris down so that
He
his
will
head is down.
readily cooperate with the avoiding being spotted by the bad guys move.
So that's what I'm doing.
And Eric?
Armor of Faith is going on.
All right. We have called. Describe that for us again. It's been a while since you used it.
So just this silvery light emerges from Vindicator in this case, I think, and just surrounds me and turns into kind of like a hard light plate mail looking armor.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And last but not least, Joel.
So I'm assuming, did Randy relay to us the description of the people who's coming in? Okay,
He did.
we can assume that happened. Okay,
Joel starts fanboying.
I do absolutely. I'm like, okay, guys, sounds like Brachius Kakistos and Frenicky are here.
And you're excited about this?
Maybe
As the armor
A
of Faith is
little?
forming.
Maybe, fighting is probably not a good option. Let's see if we can talk.
Okay.
I mean,
And in about that moment in time, there's a knock on the door. They're polite, so that's a plus.
Hank
Everyone decent.
answers the door.
Yeah, I answer the door.
everybody be cool. Be cool.
Okay, so Allie will say, everyone decent, and Eric will stride over and open up the doors. Randy, Jamal will vanish in that instant. She's somewhere. You just don't know exactly where. Hey, those doors open up, and what do we see out in the main room?
Our
Allie.
guests.
Amara's, standing there looking very tense, and there
Blink
is
twice if you're being held hostage.
right with Perseus Kakistos. So, yeah.
Standing several steps behind.
Flanked by your 2 companions.
Yes, if they're all done with what their tasks were.
They are.
Well, I'll
Welcome.
definitely say, yes, thank you. I'll definitely say Aaron would never believe this.
Yeah, but she'd find it amusing. Please come in.
Yes.
Yes.
Look,
And
I just want to
My
say,
apologies, lady. I am a paladin and thus incapable of
such a
subtlety.
fan of your work. Ugh.
I will look at Joel. Really?
They seem to be A, really just not afraid for some bizarre reason, and
It's
B,
fine.
snarky as hell. Over to you.
I'm not snarky.
Joel is being 100% serious.
It's hard to separate. I mean, we got to remember, we are us in the realm, so this is like a cool moment, but at the same terrifying, but way cool at the same time. So,
Cool but terrifying.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
All right. Bryce Hayes Kiki steps into the room. She looks over the lot of you, counting you off. No, 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 no. And then her finger lands on Rhiannon. Yeah, you. She walks right up to you, and just like Allie, she kind of taps on your mark. She's like, "Right, that's interesting." I've been,
So is this some kind of changing of the guard here? My last one left, and now you're here?
I've been authorized to offer you a deal. Can we sit?
Oh
Can
boy.
we chat?
There are plenty of chairs.
Let's sit.
I'm afraid we may already have a deal in place. We did kind of sign a contract in blood a little while ago. So with one who's I'm pretty sure is on your team. So
Contracts are made to be renegotiated.
That's good to hear.
Amara will slip over to one of the chairs. Just kind of.
Are the doors that would lead
back.
you out of this room open or closed?
I didn't close them.
Okay.
Close them either.
Corvo
then there-
and Frenicky are standing at the doors. Ideally,
So they'll
they
keep
know
them-
their place.
Open.
Mm.
Got it. All right. Go ahead.
Rhiannon. Yes?
Yes.
So I don't know everything that's going on here. It's not really my business. And I don't bother with things that aren't my business. But it sounds like you are not very happy with your situation.
You could say that.
You're not from here, are you?
Nope.
I mean, in the big sense, not from here. You want to go home.
I do. It does depend on the price.
Not much of a price. I can get you back wherever it is you've come from. With a little help, of course, from my partner. All you have to do is come with me. You come with me. Help me with a couple small items, and you can be done with this.
There it is.
It's fairly minor. What do you care? It's not your world.
Yeah, I do have certain ethical standards come out of the world. See, I've heard about it's. I haven't been in that situation myself, but I've heard about this kind of minor before. I know sort of how that goes. What happens if I say no? Do I get my old passenger back, or is this not really a
no.
choice?
See, here's the thing. This purpose that you and Amara were serving, it turns out you're not very good at it, are you? Asmodeus doesn't like tools that don't work for him. So, that part's done. No matter what. I gotta take it back. But he sees something in you. Maybe there's a reason that you picked pride.
Again, I say no. What happens? Just hypothetically.
Well, then it's out of my hands. But you don't have your little voice helping you
That's good.
Wait, what?
out. Oh, yeah. He's done with the both of you.
Oh, this is news?
Mine did a grand farewell rat from the sinking ship kind of.
Those psychic
talk.
clowns.
Yeah.
So
Mine hasn't
I'm
said a
here
peep.
To collect and to offer you this alteration of your circumstances.
DM, if I cast a cantrip, does it work?
Is it obvious? If you cast a cantrip, it's obvious you're attempting to use magic.
Yes, correct.
Consider that and what you may or may not want to say about it first. And what cantrip are we talking?
Well, not anything. Let's see. I need to look up my options.
Mhm.
I just want something that's sort of like, oh, I'm gonna make a little flashy light, or has
Not
the point.
fire-based.
No, not fire-based.
Okay.
To
Again-
know like if magic is still there.
Okay, so
because
one of the
there's
first
this
things
thing
you
where the
learn-
voice came with magic, and then now the voice is gone. So
One of the first things you learn as a wizard casting cantrips is something called blue light, which is
Mhm.
basically a small blue light that just sits
Perfect.
above the palm of your hand and glows ever so slightly, maybe candlelight intensity. And so you could call that forth, but again, you are facing not just one, but three very dangerous people. And when you suddenly go into your pocket to pull out your license, you might want to say something.
fair. So I'm gonna say, I am curious what of my abilities has been left behind. Obviously, if I was to go with you, I would continue, or else it would be not of much use. But do I still have it, or do you give it back to me, and so that I'm gonna do the whatever?
She doesn't even flinch. Whatever
Okay.
you're doing.
It is what it is. Yes, you have succeeded in conjuring a harmless tiny blue light.
Does it
She
feel different?
succeeded. Nope.
Okay.
Of course, it's not fire-based, so
Hmm.
perhaps therein lies the rub. She succeeded in casting a harmless tiny blue light. Children can do that.
Even mortal children can do that. I can't do that.
and this is all on me right now. So, I get to Amara. What did Amara get the same offer? Did you choose? What did you choose, Amara? Or
I didn't
you don't
get
want to go
an-
home?
I didn't get an option. The offer wasn't delivered to me.
I turned to Randy and Eric. I'm feeling a little left out right now.
I'm happy about that.
Don't worry, I'm sure she'll notice you later.
I think the fact that I want to stay means that this isn't an offer for me.
Yeah, I'm the one with leverage.
It's your choice, Rhiannon. I trust you, whatever you choose.
I mean, I need to. Well, wait. Okay, fine print. Going home to the right time, or just to the right place?
That's on his hands, I'm assuming. Right time, right place. Otherwise, it seems like more work.
Okay.
This is
So-
awful watching you try to figure this out. I just have to say.
We'll back you whichever you choose, Rhiannon.
And will he
even
take
if
care
you
of
choose.
your doppelganger that's back on our Earth somehow? I mean, let's get all the terms hammered out if you're thinking about it.
So, I mean, it's all very well, but the problem lies with what I have to do to get there. I know that that's going to be that is I can't countenance that. However much I want to go home, I can't countenance what I would have to do along the way. I know how these things go.
If you want to remake the world, I'm gonna do a little damage first.
I don't want to remake the world.
Well, then maybe you're really not the right person for this job.
I will say no. I don't think you can get me that way. I'm weak and feeble. You don't want me.
And as those words are spoken, the room's atmosphere suddenly shifts. In an instant, the marks on all 5 of you, your chests ignite, blazing forth with an angry, burning red light. The shape of the trident at the heart of each of the marks becomes grotesquely clear. writhing as if alive and pulsing with infernal energy. You all double over, falling out of chairs, dropping from standing, driven to your knees, as these tendrils of searing ruby light burst forth from your marks and start to arc in the air towards each other, forming a web of burning crimson that connects them all. The strands of light writhe and twist like living flames, weaving themselves into a pentagram suspended in the air above the five of you. A gust of wind sweeps through the whole of the bar, extinguishing half the lanterns in its path and sending papers and tankards alike tumbling across the floor. The scent of sulfur fills the air, acrid and unmistakable. A sudden blast sends a ripple of unease through the patrons, who begin gibbering and eyes wide with fear and mewling and hiding under overturned tables and the like. And then a booming voice cuts through the chaos. Enough, it says. That word hits like a hammer blow, and the tavern falls utterly still. Even the crackle of the hearth seems to die, leaving only a low, oppressive hum of power hanging in the air. Your crimson pentagram pulses, its lines throbbing with dark primal power, and from its center emerges the image of a figure, a holographic apparition shimmering in the air. To Briseis and her companions, the figure appears as they saw him for the very first time, perhaps as an imposing diabolical lord with horns curling like crowns, crimson skin, and an aura of absolute authority, or maybe as something far less obvious. But the five of you, he appears altogether different. Tall, with long, flowing blonde curls, impossibly handsome, with wide, magnificent feathered wings, extending majestically from his back. He seems like a celestial being, a savior from the heavens, until the details come into focus. His halo, far from the golden ring of light one might expect, is instead black as night, a ring of dripping darkness, oozing a thick, tar-like substance. The black fluid cascades down in a slow, deliberate drip, 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 hissing as it touches the floor of the bar, leaving stains of pure nothingness in its wake. Each feather on his wings, pure white at their base, darken at the tips, ending in scarlet stains as if freshly dipped in blood. Drops of that blood fall lazily from the feathers as well, splattering the pentagram beneath him with again a steady crimson drip, drip, drip. His eyes are flat black, devoid of light or life, carrying cold, calculated menace. There's no warmth there, only an endless void. His robes, though regal in their cut and fit, show signs of decay at the edges. The hems are tattered and frayed, the fine fabric streaked with ash and filth, as though the figure had walked through the ruins of a million forgotten worlds and carried their destruction along here with him. The wind that arrived to herald his, or that came to herald his arrival, lingers, swirling around the greater room, carrying with it a cloying, suffocating scent of hellfire and a sort of lingering tinge of despair. It presses down on everyone like a physical weight, as if the very air had grown thick with dread. Bound by the power of your own marks turned against you, you struggle in vain to rise. The ruby light from the pentagram holds you firm, locking you in place on your knees, forcing you to the ground in front of him. When he speaks again, his voice is smooth and melodic, carrying a resonant authority. It's the kind of voice that's meant to be obeyed. Ah, my wayward fools, so eager, defiant, and yet here you kneel. The entire tavern seems to shudder as if reality itself is bending to the will of his infernal power. The air thickens, each sound drawn out into a distorted murmur. The flicker of flames slows until they seem frozen in place, casting warped shadows on the walls. Tankers hover mid-spill, patrons remain locked in grimaces of terror. The only movement seems to come from you, Briseis, and the apparition. The rest of the world has become a frozen tableau.
I won't
not
lie,
like we
I
were
find
given
it kind of
much
hot,
choice.
but
No
other than the
one
dripping fluids.
Randy's just
immediately
vibing. Just yeah.
no one immediately has a comment. And so he will
Amara
Yes,
snarked,
wait.
but
It's
What was your
B-Day,
snark?
guys.
do you want to remind me of the snark?
at that, here you are kneeling before me. Amara
Yep.
says, "It's not like we were given much choice."
Oh, I thought that was player to dungeon master, not
No, Amara
not
said that out
Amara
loud.
to
Not person
okay,
to
okay.
sort of devil
Yes.
god.
Yes, yeah. Okay, well, great. Because he'll turn in your direction and say, "No, you misunderstand your place." He gestures in the direction of the group, and the ruby light from the pentagram spreads up and over your limbs like creeping vines, wrapping around you and further rooting you in place. You're not the ones I came here to see. You were convenient, but your usefulness has ended. You brought me here, and now you will listen. For I have come, not to bandy words with you. He gestures in the direction of Briseis. I am here for her. So Rhiannon, in this moment, you've created the papoose behind you. And as this sort of like power is keeping you in place and you're wrapped in the flaming brands of this pentagram that's holding up the image of this rather remarkably handsome and terrifying individual at the same time, you'll feel something sort of like small breaking through the clutter, right? Like a small warm presence through your papoose bag. And he's crawling out of it, Ferris. Tiny claws, you'll feel gently digging into your shoulder. And he's making his way around so he can kind of lock gazes with you. And he's trying to sort of like communicate with you in sort of like a wordless way. He'll chitter softly. Again, he just doesn't have the throat for this. But he does his best to convey a simple, wordless message, which is, hold hope, this is not over. Okay. And then, Randy, we come to you. This place is in chaos. Everyone out in the main room is wildly terrified and now frozen between what appear to be moments in time, with only you and your friends gasping and grasping, trying to free yourselves on the ground, and this woman who's come here to chat with you. Asmodeus, his voice just droning on, goes, but then, suddenly, in front of you, Jamal. She wavers into place, her dark curly hair cascading over her shoulders. She seems to have effectuated a costume change from the last time you saw her, when she was in dark leathers, looking like she was, sneaking about the place. Her costume has changed, and she's now wearing flowing Romani-style dress that's gently billowing down around her ankles, and her bare feet are hovering just above the ground. Her deep brown eyes meet yours for an instant, and they're filled with determination and something else, sorrow. And she says, Randy, there's no time for us to argue about this. We both know what's happening. You're all going to die if I don't do something. And I cannot let that happen. Anything back from you?
Is there no other way?
If I could think of one.
Can I do anything with the power of Finder myself to like?
She'll put a hand in your direction. She'll hover in so that she's just inches away from your face, and she'll gently touch your mouth with her finger. Her eyes will glance over in the direction of both Briseis and that being as a don't say too much so that you don't attract their attention in this moment. And she'll continue on. I can't think of any other way. I guess I've known this from the moment that I arrived back to you. I felt it kind of deep in my being that Finder sent me here for a reason. I didn't understand it then, but I do now. This is why I'm here, Randy, for this moment. To save you, to save all of you. I'll say, and she's leaning in, so only you are the only person who can see her, but she's whispering as though other people around could hear her, because perhaps she thinks maybe the beings that are watching might be able to do that. And you gave me so much, more than you'll ever know. You gave me a life beyond death. You showed me hope when I thought there was none left. You gave me purpose. You made me believe in something again. And her voice will catch for a moment. And in that courtyard, under the moon, you made me feel loved. And that's why I have to do this. I'm gonna find Illyra. She's the only one who can tip the scales in your favor. I'll bring her back, but it's likely to cost me. Anything from you, or are you taking her admonition to stay silent?
I'll put my hand to my heart.
There is one thing I'd ask of you. Remember me, not just in your heart, but out loud. Tell the world my story. Keep me alive through your words. That's all I ask. And she'll drift in and plant a kiss on your lips like she did in that courtyard. It's warm and sweet and filled with longing. And she will say, I'll always be with you in every song, in every story. Farewell, my bard. Sing on. She will float back a step, her form becoming more translucent with each passing moment, until she vanishes like a wisp of smoke carried away on the breeze. So back to the droning that we were talking about. So the figure will turn in the direction of Briseis and say, Briseis, my ever-resourceful associate, I do admire your initiative addressing this, and now he's gesturing in the direction of the group, peculiar group, but I thought it unlikely that they would bend so easily. Stubbornness seems to be one of their more pronounced traits. But enough about these distractions. I'm not here to dwell on the failures or victories of pawns. No, I've come because of you, because I value our collaboration. You know me well enough to know that I don't give gifts. What I offer are opportunities, each one earned, each one seized. And today, I bring you two such opportunities, both of which I trust you would find quite valuable.
What a bounty, my lord.
He'll chuckle, like he's used to this from you. Like these fools kneeling before us, I hail from the future of this world. A future I find most satisfying. But no future is without room for improvement. It was the pathetic desperation of Helm and Aminator, those pitiable beings whose power courses alongside mine in the marks that these pawns bear, he's gesturing over in their direction, that granted me this chance to reach into the past. Desperation makes gods weak, Briseis. Never forget that. I chose to use my remarkable opportunity, not for grand sweeping gestures, but to change something seemingly minor. Something so small, it might escape the notice of others, yet in your hands, it could become quite valuable indeed. Keep that fact in mind as you ponder the rest of what I say and whatever these fools choose to do when I am gone. There was a moment, just a few days ago, when two seemingly meaningless lives would have been snuffed out. A foolish and deluded tiefling warlock, desperate for meaningful identity, carried twin daughters. Your son Jabal's. He had whispered sweet lies into her ear, convincing her she carried your blood, all to better and discard her when he was through. The twins, fate was all but sealed, destined to end on the dirt floor of a rather dingy inn by a paladin's blade before they ever drew breath. These pawns, in their ignorance, altered that fate. They saved the twins, birthed them in fire, and set them on this path that now intersects with yours. So your first opportunity is quite simple. These twins, your granddaughters, I suppose, if one chooses to be technical, may one day prove useful. They are young, healthy, and bear your blood. As we speak, they should be soon in the hands of a newly recruited agent of mine down in Waterdeep. Humans, as you know, are so delightfully eager to strike bargains, especially wizards. A minion of mine was recently given an unexpected chance to recruit one. Claim them, if you wish. The choice is yours, but do not overlook their potential.
If I claim these, will you claim them back?
Did I not say you know me?
I do know you, my lord.
Then
Your
let us.
plans within plans.
Then let us
Enlighten me to the
Yes.
first layer.
Then let us simply say that I believe that anything that you may choose to do with them will prove mutually beneficial to both of us. I would not entrust you with the opportunity if I did not trust in turn your ambition.
You are indeed gracious, my lord. What is the other
What?
matter?
Your second opportunity is much closer at hand. These pawns, they bear fragments of my power, as you know. Power that they have proven utterly unfit to wield. You, Briseus, are far better suited to such gifts. Imagine what you could accomplish with that strength added to your own. It's yours for the taking. All that remains is the work of seizing it. And these pawns are not without their dangers. They carry knowledge of the future, knowledge that might make them even more dangerous to our plans. How you choose to neutralize that danger, I leave entirely to you. I trust your ambition and your pragmatism to make the right choices.
Briseus looks over the group slowly and then back up at Asmodeus. You're from the future. Do we succeed?
Would I be standing aside two deities if we did not?
Your plans are your own. You know that as well as I do.
That is as much of an answer as you're likely to get from me this afternoon.
Truly, your wisdom outshines only your beauty. She just needs a little bow.
Invertebrate flatterer. It is one of the things I like the most about you. His image in that instant flickers suddenly, the sharp clarity of its presence wavering at the edges, as though the form's being stretched and pulled by unseen forces. The ruby flames of the pentagram will dim ever so slightly, and the light will pulse erratically. It seems as though even my power has limits, and this moment, this indulgence, has cost me more than a little measure of it. But it's well worth it, I think. The five of you will feel the bonds holding you in place begin to weaken ever so slightly. The oppressive heat of the marks is subsiding a little bit. And though you're still on your knees, you can feel the invisible grip beginning to loosen. As the pentagram flickers once more, the glowing strands connecting you to it begin to gently fray. The familiar weight on your shoulder, Rhiannon, digs in his claws to get your attention, nudging you, eyes locking with yours as if to say, be ready. And the apparition says, as you well know, I don't believe in luck, Perseus. I believe in power and ambition. And I trust that the choices I have made and the ones you are about to make will lead to a long future with you at my side.
She gives a little bow and she doesn't say anything.
Keeping counsel to herself. In that moment, Rhiannon, the scene once again shifts. Everything becomes deadly quiet in the space. The sounds of the conversation between Briseis and Asmodeus dropping off, and you'll feel the world blur and dissolve around you. For an instant, you're plunged into a void of infinite darkness. Not cold or frightening, but vast and still. Slowly, that darkness gives way to a silvery glow, threads of shimmering light weaving themselves into patterns that look a bit like a starry night. And soon, a figure begins to take shape at the edge of that silvery void, at first indistinct, cloaked in shadow and light, but as it approaches you, it becomes clear, or should I say, she does. It's a woman, nearly 7 feet in height. The woman is tall, graceful, regal, and cloaked in flowing robes of deep midnight blue, speckled with stars that seem to shimmer and shift as if reflecting a night sky. Her long black hair flows behind her, streaked with strands of silver that gleam like moonlight. Her luminous, deep blue eyes are calm, and there's a weight in them, like she's carrying an immense burden with dignity. On her shoulder perches a ferret. Ferret. His sleek black and silver fur gleaming faintly in the starlight, his bright green eyes glimmering with intelligence, almost amusement. He sits comfortably near her ear, those sharp and curious eyes on you, with the tail curling lazily around her neck. When your gaze lands on him, he chitters softly and shifts his weight, as if acknowledging you without moving to leave his very comfortable perch. The woman notices this exchange and smiles softly. The power in that smile is enormous, and it makes your heart ache for an instant in your chest in response, almost as if it were about to stop. And then she speaks in a voice strong and soft and full of majesty.
An old friend of mine, and of yours. I call him Nimara, or Nim for short, and he's been watching over you for some time now. I sent him to you, for I could not yet come myself. He has been your guardian in ways you may not even realize.
And Nim, chitters again as if amused by the acknowledgement before settling back comfortably. The woman dips her head in a respectful nod and continues.
Well met, Rhiannon. I am Mistra, although I've been called Lady Midnight. You may call me Mistra or simply Midnight, as you prefer.
Thank you. Why have you brought me here?
You brought yourself here. Let me smooth the edges of my power. I forget sometimes the weight of godhood upon mortal senses. I will speak to you as I once was, before I became what I am now.
And she'll sort of wave her hand in the air, and the overwhelming aura of divine power around you will ease slightly, making it easier for you to breathe, to think, and she'll shrink a full foot in height, folding her hands in front of you.
You may wonder why I've come now and not before. Simply, I could not intervene before. Rules bind us gods, rules that ensure balance, rules I myself have often bent. I could not intervene until this precise moment, until you were well and truly abandoned by the power that once claimed you. Only now am I free to offer you a choice. But before we speak of such a choice, I'd have you know this. I was once where you are now, Rhiannon. Mortal, pulled by forces beyond my comprehension, used by beings far mightier than myself. I know you've been pushed around by the gods, manipulated, used as a pawn in their grand games. I am not like them. I do not seek to control you, nor do I demand fealty or sacrifice. I am here to offer you something that was not given to me. A real choice.
And she'll gesture into the void.
You may return to your own world, or you may remain here. Whatever you decide, I will honor it. I will not sway you with empty promises or grand displays of power, but I would tell you my story so you might better understand the weight of such a choice before you make it.
And she takes sort of like a deep, steadying breath, closes her eyes for a moment, and looks away as though she's thinking into the past.
I was mortal, like you, chosen, not a chooser. When the last Mister died, her mantle fell to me. I was filled with a power I could scarcely comprehend, surrounded by those who sought to shape me, use me, dictate who I must be and what I must do. For a time, resisted. I cursed my fate. I even sought to deny it. But as the truth of this world came into focus, I made what choice I had left to me.
And she's got a very resolute tone at this point.
I chose to act. I could have been a dispassionate arbiter of magic, content to let the world spin on as it may. But I chose instead to use this power to do good, to protect the powerless, to fight against tyranny and destruction. I acted, not because it was my duty, but because it was right. I broke the rules when I could, bent them when I had to, because the stakes demanded it. The choice I have made comes at a price, a steep one. My actions now will ensure that I will not endure to see the future that I fight for, but I do not regret it. I was given this power, and I chose to wield it for the good of this world, and for all worlds, creation itself.
And she's got almost a bittersweet smile on her face. And Nim, seeing her tell that story and the way that it pains her, will nuzzle her neck, as he's got a habit of being exactly where he needs to be when people need him.
And so, we come to your choice. I am not some ancient functionary who manipulates your needs to control you, nor am I a tyrant claiming destiny demands you follow my path. And you will never hear me justify cruelty or neglect as a duty. No, Rhiannon, I have walked your path. I understand the weight of this choice, and I will honor it, whatever it may be.
And she'll get close, looking into your eyes.
But I will not deny that I hope you choose to stay. This world, these worlds, need you. Your choices, your power, unique. are a force even the gods must reckon with. And if you stay, I will guide you, protect you, and grant you the strength to shape this world for the better. But the choice, Rhiannon, is yours, entirely yours.
Is this a choice forever? Till my death? I choose to stay now, and there is no other opportunity? Or I suppose no one can know the future entirely.
For as long as I exist, I will be there for you. I can only speak for myself. I cannot speak for you. Because one thing I've noticed about mortals, they change their minds often. There's something wrong with the minds they have. And I am not going to say once and forever, because the one thing that mortals find constant is change. But the choice you make now, I will support you now. If you make another choice in future, I will support you then. Because we are not worthy of godhood if we become tyrants. Mortals must always be free to choose. For one thing, it gives us nothing to watch if everything's controlled.
It feels strange to say I do want to stay where I'm needed, because that's pride, to believe in the uniqueness of what I can bring to the situation. And I hate to go too far down that road, having escaped it. Hopefully. But a lot about leaving was the terms on which I was here. And on different terms, it's it's very different. So I think I do choose to stay.
And she'll beam at that.
You have chosen wisely, Rhiannon. The road ahead will not be easy, but I will do what I can to see you are prepared for it. You have my admiration for your courage and resolve. 3 gifts I offer you. 1 from me, 1 from my mother, and 1 from a steadfast friend.
And she'll begin to approach you, kindling magic in her hand.
The mark of Asmodeus dug itself deep into your being, helping to stabilize the magic that grounds you here. But now, his betrayal, inevitable betrayal, will strip that power from you. And so, another must take its place. A power not born of infernal fire, but of something else. If you are willing, I will grant you a measure of my own strength. Will you accept it?
Yes, please.
And she will approach you, glowing hand placed above your heart.
The fire you wielded is gone, but I have something for you. Something I feel will more than make up for its loss.
And you'll feel a surge of energy flow into you, an intoxicating rush that fills you with joy and hope. The stars in the sky around you seem to pulse in rhythm to your heartbeat, and Midnight withdraws the hand and strokes it through your wild red hair, tucking one lock gently behind one ear.
My mother, the Moon Maiden, has also set her eye upon you. She wishes to grant a gift she feels is most fitting for who you are and for what your mind has chosen to create.
And as she's saying those words, sort of running her fingers through the bright red hair you have, it begins to shimmer, and strands of silver start to cascade through it like moonlight weaving into flame. And in a moment's time, it changes entirely, turning a brilliant silvery white. A second surge of power rushes into you, and you find your senses are enhanced. You can smell, see, hear better.
Xiaolin sees in you her own light. Her blessing will help guide you through the darkness ahead.
And as Midnight Mistra steps back, she'll smile and say,
Now, for the final gift. Every warrior must have a steadfast ally, a faithful blade in the battle to come. You've had one all along, though not in the form you would expect.
and she'll gently lift from her shoulder the ferret that she's been cradling. And her expression as she sort of looks at him, you know how you like to grab him and hold him up so he's sort of like even with your face?
Yeah.
She'll do the same thing with him and give him a sort of wistful expression, saying,
He is always known where he's most needed.
and with an elegant motion, she'll toss him into the air. A shimmering blur will envelop him as he falls, and his form will twist and stretch. There'll be a soft whoosh of magic, like a gust of wind through the trees, and his form will ripple and expand. And when he lands, it'll be on 2 feet. No longer a ferret, but a lithe and striking anthropomorphic figure clad in the garb of a dashing duelist. His black and silver fur gleams in the starlight, his green eyes sparkling with intelligence and amusement. He stands about 3 feet tall, a fine silver-bladed rapier hanging at his side, and a blue cape swept dramatically behind him. He has a wide-brimmed, like, musketeer hat on, and he will doff it, bowing to you. Greetings, Lady Rhiannon. Apologies for my deceptions. They were necessary, if rude. But I am here now to stand at your side and offer both my song and my blade in your service. So, Rhiannon, this is DM'd player.
Mhm.
You know how when we were talking about movies we liked, I asked you about the movie Labyrinth?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Do you remember Sir Didymus from the movie Labyrinth?
Yeah.
That is my inspiration for Namara. And so he is not a fox, he is a ferret. But
Okay.
he is in other ways every bit as much Sir Didymus. Anyway, sorry, I don't want to cut off Midnight here.
He will serve you well in the fight ahead. He has, however unexpectedly, become the truest friend I have ever known. Speaking of that fight, the time has come for you to rejoin it. Use your gifts to save your friends and teach the minions of the Horned One a valuable lesson for.
Will do.
And she will sort of impromptu hug you. And it's interesting, you know, you've never hugged a god before, even one pretending to be mortal. But she's both impossibly strong and unexpectedly fragile in that hug. And you'll see a single tear making its way down the right side of her face. And she'll whisper into your ear,
Walk boldly, sister. You are more powerful than you know, and you are never alone. My light will guide you, as will those who stand at your side.
Thank you.
and then she's simply gone, as if she was never there in the first place. And the place, which is not really a real place after all, that you're in, begins to sort of dissolve away at the edges, the stars winking out one at a time, one after the other. And you'll begin to find yourself once more on your knees on the floor in the Laughing Beholder. Only this time, you're not alone. Standing next to you is Namara, in the form, as noted, of an anthropomorphic ferret duelist. And he will look in your direction and nod once. Okay, so, as I said, something's going to happen in the middle of that sort of like pose down and confrontation as it sort of reaches a fever pitch. You will internally hear the mocking, venomous laughter of your mark, which has revealed itself to be the sin of lust, echoing in your mind, suddenly growing sort of like louder than the chaos around you. And it will say in that sort of sibilant whisper that it likes to use, "Did you really think we were partners, little fool? You were nothing but a vessel, a plaything. And now that the game is done, so are you. Farewell, Allie. May you enjoy crawling in the muck where you belong." And it will laugh like cruel laughter in your mind. And you will feel above your heart where the mark is located, sort of like a surge of power. And you've felt these kinds of surges before. Usually as power has been coming in, the reverse is happening here. It is being drained out, right? And all at once, you will feel the mark's power begin to vanish, and your transformation from human to elf begin to unravel, because it is that power that sustained that transformation. And as that form flickers, your skin shifting painfully as your human form begins to reassert itself, a spike of panic, like sheer unmitigated terror, I'm sure, will rip through you as you realize that you're about to be abandoned by this thing. And then as you're sort of like bracing for the collapse of that form, everything freezes, like time itself stops. Like if you're in a movie and you can see the raindrops stopped in the air, this is that kind of a situation. The sounds of the bar, the shouts, the gasps all fade away. The air grows silent and still, and a soft silver light suffuses your vision, sort of like just fades in around you. From within your clothing, you can feel, even though you can't see because you're washed out with the light, the holy symbol of Elistre that you were given by Kulue, that finely wrought miniature of the goddess herself, begin to squirm as if alive, like it did when it first got put around your neck. And then it grows warm, almost uncomfortably so, and pulses with an inner glow. The sensation spreads outward, wrapping you in a smooth warmth, even as you can feel the mark of lust growing cold as it fades from inside you. And then suddenly, in your mind, you will hear a soft melodic voice in your ears. "I am the moonlight in the darkness, no matter how deep it may appear." That is the same phrase that was said to you during the candle dance when you had that sort of like religious experience. And here it is, same voice, same phrase in your mind again. It sort of vibrates with what is clearly power. And then the holy symbol itself throbs once, and you feel sort of weightless, lifted from the ground, and the world around you dissolves. A couple of heartbeats later, you'll find yourself standing in what appears to be a vast moonlit grove. The ground is carpeted with soft grass and glowing white blossoms, while a silvery moon hangs impossibly low in the sky. You know that this place is not, it cannot be real, and yet here you are. And what's more, before you, now that you look forward, is standing a giant of a person, 9 foot tall, ebon-skinned, radiant figure with shimmering silver hair flowing like water. Her form, for she is a woman, is wrapped in a flowing gown that seems to be woven from starlight itself. A luminous crescent moon marks her brow, and her deep, sorrowful eyes, silver with silver pupils, regard you with patience. You know at once that you are in the presence of a god, This is not a mere mortal. A figure too great for your mortal mind to really truly comprehend. And then, once again, you hear that voice, again, without her lips moving. So it's just sort of like mind to mind. I am the moonlight in the darkness, and I have been watching you, Allie. Her voice is rich, melodic, and she steps closer to you, her bare feet brushing the grass, gesturing gently in your direction. You have been abandoned, child, cast aside like a pawn by a power unworthy of your devotion. But your betrayal has opened a door. You are free of his chains, though the price of that freedom is high. It is only now, with your soul laid bare, that I can make you this offer. The goddess raises a hand, and a glowing vision of the holy symbol necklace from around your neck appears in the air, hovering between you and her. This was a gift of faith, a promise of light even in the deepest shadow. It is the key to what I offer now, a chance to choose your own form and your own path, to claim the strength you need to remain here, not by his power, but by mine. You may take the form you have worn, the elf Amara, or embrace the true nature of my children, the drow, as you once glimpsed in the candle dance. That choice will be yours. But as I said, this offer could only be made now, after you have been abandoned, for the rules that bind even the gods forbid interference in the presence of another's claim. But you are now free to choose, and free to embrace a greater purpose. She steps closer to you, much like this dog is getting closer to me. And her eyes searching yours, she says, you are willing to risk everything for the sake of one troubled soul. I saw it in your heart the moment you stepped into my light. That courage is why I come to you now. I believe you could help me do the same for all of my children, the drow who remain trapped in the dark, bound by Loth's will. Will you lend your strength to my mission, Allie? Will you join me in leading them into the light?
And like I'm actually tearing up because this is wow. Amara like is also like I am also tearing up in that moment, and like speechless for quite a few heartbeats before I'll nod yes, absolutely.
I need you to understand that I will grant you the power to remain and the true form of your choosing, and your choices will become your own once more. But this is a path of sacrifice and struggle should you choose to take it.
I understand.
Good, my child. Then so shall it be. I feel you have chosen well, child of two worlds. To take on this form is to embrace both the beauty and the burden of my people. Do you wish to do so?
Yes, the face I've been wearing hasn't been mine. I've tried to make it mine, but it's not. I'll take this on. Yes, absolutely.
The goddess nods once, raises her arms, and the silvery moonlight begins to swirl around you, lifting you gently into the air. The light feels like a soft caress, soothing and comforting, wrapping around your form and reshaping it with graceful fluidity. Your skin takes on the deep, smooth hue of obsidian, your hair lightening to a cascade of silvery white. As the transformation completes, Elistray lowers her arms, and you gently float back to the ground. The holy symbol, now glowing faintly, settles against your chest, no longer squirming, but radiating comforting warmth. She steps closer and places a hand lightly on your shoulder as she says, you are reborn, Allie. Amara the Moon Elf no longer, but Amara the Redeemed, a child of the moonlight. Through you, I see hope for those who yearn from freedom from the darkness. Carry my light within you, and it will never fade. She takes a single step back, her silver hair flowing like a river of light, and her voice grows softer. Go now, and face your destiny with courage. And remember, wherever the song of the moon is sung, I am with you. And as she says that, the dreamscape that you are in begins to fade. She raises her arms one last time, and the moonlight intensifies until it engulfs everything. An instant later, that light recedes, and you feel your feet touch solid ground once more. You open your eyes to the dim light of the laughing beholder, the chaotic scene still frozen in time around you. The warmth of your holy symbol against your chest and your senses feel heightened, your body lighter and more agile. As you glance down at your hands, slim and elegant, the deep black hue of Drow skin. Your hair, now silvery white, falls over your shoulders, and you feel a strange, comforting resonance within you, as though the goddess's song is still humming softly in the back of your mind. Then, time suddenly resumes. The sounds of the bar crash back into your awareness. The party around you is still reacting to their betrayal, and large Luigi's blonde barmaid, Molly, is frozen mid-movement, staring at the unraveling chaos. Through this all, you feel this new sense of calm and strength inside you. The mark of lust is gone, replaced by the warm glow of Elistre's light, and you are ready to face whatever comes next.
Excellent.
Great. Okay, and so, remember earlier as the DM where I talked about, before we started this, where I talked about how we would cut things in? We cut a thing in just then that we filmed previously. If people need a 10-minute break, this is a good opportunity for that. Do people want a 10-minute break?
Yeah, I think that's good.
We're back.
All right, and we
go.
are back. So we just left off. Allie had come back into the room of the laughing beholder after having, again, within the space of a moment, an experience that lasted more than a few moments in a place either in between the worlds or in her mind, or who knows exactly where it was, but came back changed from her previous form now to that of a drow elf. And so as that occurs, also occurring at pretty much the same time, all of these things are occurring simultaneously. Your conversation with Midnight, Rhiannon, your conversation with Elistre, Allie, and gentlemen, something that occurs now to you. And as the flickering occurs in Asmodeus's image and fraying around the edge of the trap that you're locked in, a new presence touches your minds. You don't change places this time. It's just sort of a message occurring in your head. It's like a soft note plucked on a lute. Think of it as like a ringtone, right? That starts the conversation, filled with sort of warmth and gentle clarity. And the presence is at once familiar and deeply comforting, filling the void left behind by this retreating infernal power. And a voice will come into your heads.
Through the echoes of his fading power, time grows short, so I must be brief.
You've heard this voice before, and it was played by the same guy. It's Finder, God of Reckless Fools.
Oh, good. I thought it was about time for a Faerunian Deus Ex Machina.
Ahem, ahem. The power
Oh, no, please, go on.
of Asmodeus has helped anchor you here, tethered you to this time and place. Now that he has withdrawn, your marks will unravel without something to replace his influence. But there is another way. I offer you a measure of my own power. Less than his, yes, but sufficient to ground you here. You need only accept it, and I will take the place he has left behind. Although, choose quickly, lads, for your lives. And your choices that shape the lives of others hang in the balance. If you decline, well, I fear you won't live long enough to regret it.
Will the absence of a third deity in the mark actually be what kills us, or are you just saying we will not survive the next few minutes without your help?
Both. The marks
Okay,
will
so
unravel.
it's not even really a choice.
You always have a choice. I am the god of reckless fools.
That's why he came to us, is it?
That's
Well,
why he came to me first, apparently.
so
I have sworn an oath to protect these people and to shepherd them to their own choices and destiny. And if this is my only choice, well, you're not an evil deity, and I am not forbidden to associate with you. So I shall take your power.
Oh, well played. Well played. The rest of you?
I mean, I'm already a cleric, a finder. I'm trying to serve your
Yes.
purpose in this world, so
I
And
ship it.
I say yes, obviously.
Ship it.
so far, you are doing as well as could be expected, Randy. Right.
Thank you.
Sorry, that was just really good. All right.
And that leaves but one. There can be only one.
Wait, did you just make a reference to our world?
I walk the worlds. I walk them all.
Didn't you? Oh my.
Oh,
Okay.
dear, it hurts my eyes.
I do not aspire to be a reckless fool, but there's a reason we're called chosen, not choosers. So I suppose that's a yes.
Well played, all of you. Well played, lads. Well played.
And there'll be a sound, like a gentle strumming of a harp that fills the air. Not so much a physical sound, but more something that resonates deep within you. The note lingers, impossibly perfect in the air, carrying with it, again, a feeling of hope. As it fades, a surge of energy ignites in your chest, starting at your marks and spreading outward like a wave of healing, like you might get from like a healing potion or a healing spell. Finder's power is flowing into you. Whereas Modeus's influence was heavy, oppressive, and burning, this is light, joyous, and uplifting. It's a rush of pure vitality, a sense of connection to something greater that's unburdened by chains or malice. As the power settles, the oppressive grip that held you to the ground loosens further, and the ruby bounds of the pentagram further flicker and weaken. You feel your limbs grow lighter, strength returning to your bodies as the weight of Asmodeus's influence diminishes.
Now, let's see what you can do with a little freedom. The stage will soon be yours, my friends. I believe they say, break a leg.
And
Possibly
Randy,
several.
possibly several. As that shared message, the three of you and Finder fades, you still feel Finder's presence lingering in your mind alone. And his tones sort of shift. It's softer, less dramatic, and a bit more apologetic.
Randy, know that I mourn with you. Jamal, she was faithful, steadfast, and more than I could ever have hoped for. Her choice was her own, made from a place of love and courage. Even I cannot reverse what she did. Her light has moved beyond my reach, and that is a wound I shall carry as long as I exist. But you, my friend, carry her memory. If you survive this mess, and I hope that you will, I will grant you a boon, an echo of her bound to your song. Whenever you sing, you will hear her voice alongside your own, a harmony that no force can silence. It will not be her, not truly, but it will be something, her memory, eternal in music, if you would have it.
I will, and I promise to sing a song of her so that people remember her always. And I hope that she will end up in a good place wherever she's going.
Well said.
And with that, Finder's presence recedes from your mind, all of your minds, leaving you all kneeling once more in the frozen chaos of the Laughing Beholder. But now, you know that something is different, and you can see, everyone can see, as the conversation is coming to an end. I believe the end of the line that I had with Asmodeus and Briseus was, and will lead to a long future with you at my side, that circumstances have changed slightly. One of the members of this group has gone from being an elf to being a drow, and an additional member of the group has appeared, a 3-foot-tall anthropomorphic ferret who's dressed up like a swashbuckling duelist. So something just happened in the instant between when Asmodeus withdrew his support and now. What that is, I suppose we'll all find out. But the black void of his halo expands briefly, and then with a pulse of crimson light, the image of the Lord of the Nine vanishes. The magic of the pentagram shatters like glass, the ruby tendrils dissipating into nothingness, and the bonds that held you all in place are gone. You're free once more. Free, changed, and no longer alone. So what do you want to do?
Well, before anything, Briseus Kikistos is going to grab the cup that Rhiannon was drinking out of earlier, pick it up, and hurl it across the room with a scream of rage and frustration.
It will shatter against the wall.
It draws herself up, straightens herself out.
Not going like you hoped.
But Lady
You hate
Briseus, before you make any decisions, as the Raging Fiend alluded to, we are from the future, and so we have some information that might be of value to you. If you would hear us out, and I get up and I move over to the bar and I start pulling drinks for everybody.
Well, hang on one second. So he gets up. Once again, Briseus, he's reaching for his wallet when he's, being stopped by the police.
Hands are up.
So I want to give you a moment to react to him springing into motion.
I'm not concerned with him, except for
Fair
the
enough.
fact that all of you are talking at me.
So she'll let you do that, Joel. She'll let you go out into the main room and start pouring drinks on the bar. What does everyone else want to do while he's doing that?
Well, Amara's gonna stand up slowly, and trust that Joel knows what he's doing, and repeat, since it kind of got lost in the shuffle. Take it that didn't go as you hoped.
Don't you hate it when your boss shows up and decides he can do what he asked you to do, but better?
I can get why
Micromanaging.
I can get why that would be frustrating. You really think he's gonna give you what you want?
I think I'm going to make sure I get what I want. Do you think I'm an idiot?
Hardly.
Asmodeus turns on
I think maybe
everybody.
we should have a conversation about the terms of your contract with Asmodeus.
So one moment. Briseus, you said something which got cut off there. What was it?
I said, do you think I'm an idiot?
Hardly.
I think
And then-
Asmodeus thinks you're an idiot.
Oh,
No, but I
Asmodeus,
think-
knows exactly what he bargained for.
And that's where
Indeed.
Joel will leap in with that bit about, let's talk about the nature of your contract.
So
There's-
your soul is your own. I know that you made it part of your deal with him that he would, not only that you would give him the power to raise your sister, but that he would do so. But what isn't specified is when he would do it.
Okay,
That's-
she's going to reach out and grab you by the front. I'm assuming you have armor. She's going to
I
yank
do.
you up. She's going to
I thought that would get her attention.
Who told you that?
Like we said, we're from the future. You're pretty famous where we're from.
I doubt that very strongly.
He's not
Talk
wrong.
About-
Well, what would you like to know?
As odd as it may seem, this man might be your biggest fan.
She shoves Joel away. I'm done playing games with you. Our business is finished. You don't have anything I need. How could you? You think you know better. I made a deal with the Raging Fiend. Because I can get him something he wants, and he can get me something I want. That's it. Someday, he will try to betray me. But maybe he'll be surprised when I betray him first. And that's
He
the
won't
only way
be.
you win at this game.
You won't be, and in your attempts
Paladin,
to
the
do so,
grown-ups are talking right now. She's getting really mad.
Sorry, Lady Kakistos. Please
I-
proceed. I have no quarrel with you,
as he mentioned,
which is an
we-
odd thing for a paladin to say.
I'm
as you
already
mentioned,
creeping back into
there-
the back corner.
there were
And
we did come into contact with someone who we now know was your daughter, Rhea, I believe.
I don't have a daughter.
You
I have
have.
a good
Oh,
for
I'm
nothing
sorry.
son.
I'm sorry. The one who your Jubal. I'm sorry. The person who killed her named her Rhea Kakistos. We were confused about that for a bit, and apparently so was he. But yes. So we did. We were there for the birth of your granddaughters, and we have cared for them since. And unlike what happened in Darmshall all those years ago with two other little tiefling girls, these two have been cared for. And they are about to fall back into the clutches of an Asmodean agent, and I can't think that's what you want.
Joel, here's the thing. When you start bringing up Darm's Hall, it doesn't quite have the effect you're aiming for. She gets colder, she gets angrier, and she suddenly stands up. And she says, Frenicky, don't you dare yank us out of here until that one's dead. And
Understood.
she starts casting a spell.
So that's what the kids like to call initiative.
Yep.
Mm.
All right, so I'm going to go around and I'll ask you all what you're up to. I will not ask you. Ed's ready to roll. Miner doesn't need to roll initiative. He just needs that popcorn, Ed. And I will ask you, Briseis, what number you've rolled. You don't have to tell me what your plans are in advance. You just tell me what
Okay.
you do when the number on your initiative comes up. And I've got Frenicky and Corlo. DM to players, you never asked for that guy's name. No one ever in the Dark Dancer said, who was that guy? Who did we talk to? What was that dude? Who was that, Aaron?
Corlo Sin Singer.
And perhaps
Previously unknown member of the Toral 13.
He gets like one mention in one
does.
place. So
He
he's
does.
very obscure. I would have been really surprised if somebody clocked him.
We
So
did
anyway,
not.
so I'm going to go around. I'm going to ask the players, what do you want to do this round? And then we'll do this initiative thing. And I'm handling the two of them. And obviously Aaron is handling Briseis. So we will start with you, Ali. What do you want to do this round?
Well, at that, I think Amara is going to pull that stiletto.
Mhm.
And I think she's gonna try to throw it at Briseis.
Is this a Jack Burton, throw the thing and hope to kill the chief bad guy deal?
It's more of a try to distract and disrupt the spell casting.
Okay, gotcha. Looking for a hit, really, more than anything else.
Yeah, I'm looking for a hit. I'm not going to kill Briseis Kakistos with a hastily thrown dagger. So,
All right, good point. I mean, just want to be sure you know that.
But you might disrupt her spellcasting in this edition.
that's what I'm
Entirely
looking
possible.
for. So,
All right,
yeah.
so that's Ali. Joel, or excuse me, Randy is in my next Hollywood Squares.
Oh, okay. Well, I had been creeping back into the corner.
You mentioned that, yes.
And as I had mentioned before, I had started to prepare. So I've been singing softly, in this darkest hour, I call finder's power, sing this little prayer, make this fight more fair, and cast chant, so we all get +1 and they all get -1.
All right, so when we come to your initiative order, that will begin. That effect will occur. All right,
Yeah.
so that brings me to Rhiannon in my Hollywood Squares.
So do I have a sense if my fire spells will even work?
Geez, you'd have to try one to find out.
All right.
Do you want me to come
What?
back to you?
Well, no, I'm weighing because I do want to try one, but I don't want to like
Yeah.
waste a
Do it
lot
and
if
then
it doesn't.
lose a whole round to trying the spell.
Yeah.
You won't
So I mean,
if the spell doesn't take, like if you try to cast it and it doesn't take, you won't lose the whole round, but you then will go last when you do the next thing.
okay. Well, in that case, I will do first level fireball, put the radius, by the 2 by the door.
Okay, sounds good. All right, Eric.
I am interposing myself between Briseis Kikistos, the Brimstone Angel, and her vile magics, and Joel, who is the target of those vile magics, which he probably has coming, but like
Don't.
the
Oh,
Holy
he
Sword
probably
might be
has it
able to
coming.
stop her magic. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so that's your plan. Got it. All
How
right.
close
Joel,
are
do you
they
want-
together? Because this little globe of power only.
Within a few feet of one another, because she grabbed him, was in his face yelling and whatever. Took a couple steps back, but she's no more than 10 feet away. That sound right?
That sounds right.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not
Alright.
going to attack her. I'm just going to try and block her magic.
I mean,
Gotcha,
we don't want to yuck Joel's yum. I mean, maybe he wants to get hit by a spell from Briseis. Maybe that's his dream.
Well,
I mean,
if
yeah,
the
he
sword
did
doesn't
mention
block
he's a
it, then
fanboy.
he will get his dream.
We did mention he is a fanboy. That is true.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we're ready. Yes. Have I forgotten someone?
You forgot me, actually.
Oh yeah, Joel. Yeah, Joe. What are you doing? What are you
So
doing, Joel?
I'm going to close the distance and draw weapons.
Okay. So you're looking to mix it up in melee.
Well, I'm a fighter.
You are a fighter. All right, bold fellow. Okay, let's roll those 10-sided dice, and then in a moment I'll ask you what your numbers are.
I got a whopping 1.
A whopping 1. That's the best kind.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
I can
That's
never
what they-
keep straight what's good or bad in 2E.
Yeah,
For
it's,
initiative, low is better in 2E.
Okay.
Okay, Eric.
I got a 5.
Okay, 5. Allie.
I got a 4.
Okay, that's lower than a 5. Randy. A whopping 1.
A whopping
What are you
1.
doing? You're casting a spell, so what level is that spell?
Second.
All right, so we're going to call that a 3. Joel,
A 3.
also a 3. Rhiannon,
Sorry. What are we giving you?
D10.
Initiative.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No worries.
I rolled a d20 and I was like,
It's
the
okay.
slowest.
A 17.
9.
Okay, so you'll be going at 10. Okay, and Briseis, what was your number?
3.
3. All right, so also going pretty quickly. I'm going to give ties in this case to Briseis. So, what do you got for me?
Oh, she brings her hands up, and unsurprisingly, they fill with fire. And yeah, she is going to do. I might have to text you some questions.
Yeah.
Let's start this out pretty decent. Let's just do a classic fireball.
Classic fireball. Everyone loves a classic fireball. Okay, so
Note that
you
she
can-
did not ask how large the room was.
The room is big enough
Alter
to
ego
accommodate.
does not
Yeah.
care.
Exactly.
Big enough to accommodate a classic fireball. Eric, this whole room is about 120 longest axis to longest axis, and about 60 shortest axis to shortest axis.
Okay.
But given one of the things about Briseis, which you'll discover when this fireball goes off, can easily center that on herself as needed. So it gets
Yeah.
Joel. Are there any other party members that you'd like to catch in that Briseis, or are you really just looking to bring the pain to Joel?
I don't think she's being terribly targeted.
Okay.
She's been hit in a little vulnerable spot. She needs to reassert
So let's just spread the love,
scary
shall we?
villain thing. So
Okay.
let's go big, let's go boom.
Okay, that seems reasonable. All right, so the 3 people that are actually going to be in it from my envisionment of the room, and we're operating in the theater of the imagination, are Allie, Eric, and Joel. Randy moved out of the way, ran, and never really said, "I ran up," and makes it a habit of staying at the fringe of combats. So I'm going to say that those are the 3 people. So what I need you to do, Briseis, is roll 10 6-sided dice and tell me the number.
Okay.
Oh,
And
boy.
in the meantime, I'm going to do saving throws and stuff. Allie,
Great.
welcome to some great news. Drow have magic resistance. Can you roll percentile dice for me?
Yes. Okay. 48.
48. Okay, that's good enough. I think your number is 2% per level, starting at 50%, which is what children have for magic resistance. So that gives you a magic resistance of 5 times 60. So
Okay,
48 is
cool.
under it. Okay. So the fireball will roll over the drow and not damage her, which is not unexpected. That's drow have magic resistance after all, and so they're not necessarily going to get wiped by this. Eric has a question. So I'll come to you next, Eric, since you're in the blast radius.
Does the sword do anything?
The answer to that question is yes and no.
Okay.
So the sword, if you recall that description that I sent you, protects you from evil magic from casters that are a level equal to your own or lower. Perseus is at a level higher than yours.
Yeah, okay.
You will get some positive modifiers to this saving throw, however. So please roll it.
Okay. That is a 17.
All right, so you made the save. So I think if I saw the thing correct, it was 27 points of damage. Is that correct,
Yes.
Perseus? Okay.
Yeah.
So we round
You
up
guys
for
are
damage.
lucky I rolled real bad.
Yeah, there's more. There's more coming where that one came from.
You had the potential to one-shot us here. So
And so 27 is reduced to 14, Eric. So you will take 14 points of damage from that blast. Ouch.
Okay.
That
Yep.
hurt.
It
Okay.
did.
Joel,
It's okay. I've died before. I'm not afraid.
I'm not afraid. You were at ground zero for that one, so please roll.
I rolled a 2.
Oh, that's bad.
Taking it
That's
all.
Probably because you were at ground zero for that one. So you will take.
I caught it right in the chest.
You will take the full 27 points of damage. Anyone and anything hiding patrons, flammable objects within that blast radius just got cooked. And so there's ash all over the place. Rhiannon, you're kind of familiar with how this usually rolls out. It's just you're used to being the one dealing out this kind of fire and not being on the receiving end of this kind of fire. And there is that, you know how like your fire had that little green flickering in it? Same stuff coming off of Perseus. So, okay, that was our first action for the round. Second action for the round is Joel. Ouch, Joel, what are you, you're plunging in, continuing to fight.
I am.
Okay, so roll an attack.
So as I do it, I'm going to say, my appreciation is genuine, and the fact that I know you're not fated to die here means I don't have to hold back. So I get, so it's going to be one longsword and the magical dagger, since I don't know if he's immune to normal weapons.
That's fanboying, all right.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
That's some quality fanboying.
So the, so I would have hit an armor class up to 2 with the longsword.
Better than that, I'm afraid.
Oh, Jesus. And then I missed with the dagger as well.
Okay, so he'll get in your face, say some charming things, and whiff. And next is Randy at 3.
Okay. I guess I release the chant spell, so everybody in my party suddenly feels a little better. Like, I might be able to hit a little harder and save against things a little better. And then Perseus and anyone in her party gets hit with a -1 penalty to hit and damage and
All right.
saves.
I'll keep that up here. So, and you must
And also, I'm
maintain
trying not to choke on NPC ash.
yeah, right. That's fair. It gets in there
It's the
deep.
worst. Yeah.
So you're going to do your best to keep that chant up because you have to in order to keep the spell going.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just hiding
Next-
in the corner, huddled there.
Next person to go is Allie.
All right. Well, first things first. Amara is going to look like cover her face and look really surprised when nothing happens.
Yeah.
Fire rolls over her and she's like, "What?" And then she's gonna throw the knife anyway.
All right. Roll a 20-sided die for me.
All right. My enchanted stiletto here. Let's see. What? Look at my sheet. It's 2. All right. So, I think that's a 17, so I hit a -2 AC.
-2 is the AC you're looking for.
All right.
So your stiletto will hit. Roll D3 plus 2, please.
I believe it's, I thought it was D3 plus 3.
D3 plus 3, please.
All right. So it only does 4 damage, but it's something.
Hey, Briseis, that drow threw a dagger at you. That tore a corner of your clothing.
Oh, apparently I know where my next target is.
Fair enough.
Wow.
Where are my useless lackeys here?
Your useless lackeys are going at 5 and 6. At 5, Eric.
Well, I guess peace was never an option, and I am going to take a swing at Briseis here.
Okay, so you're crowding in on her.
Yeah.
Alrighty, go ahead. Go ahead. Peace was never an option.
In our time.
Hey,
Okay, so I rolled a 15, which is a -4 in this case.
all right. That does hit a -2 armor class damage.
Or actually -5 because of the chant, if the chant's still going on. Okay,
is,
let's see. And Briseis is a normal-sized creature, not a large creature?
Yep, not a large creature.
That'd be 12 points of damage.
All right. Again, you've got way more hit points than that, Briseis, but that did hurt more than someone throwing that dagger at you. Looks like the
Very
paladin
unhappy.
has joined the mix. All right. So here's your minions springing to life.
Finally.
Yeah, right. Reneki will say paladins and their slarning holy swords produce
Yep, that's true.
3 globes that are filled with some fire-like substance and hurl them into the room's hearth. They will burst in the hearth. There'll be this giant rush of fire and light and heat coming out of the hearth. And then 3 man-sized figures of pure flame will launch out of the hearth, their fiery bodies crackling and flickering, surging towards you, Eric, and you, Joel, who are pinning Briseis. And now you have 3 of these things on the other side of you. She will, I want to make sure I get it. Corlo will say, I've got him. And she will say to Corlo, keep your eyes on the ferret too. And Corlo will come stalking in on the other side of you, Eric. So now you're being pressed in 2 directions. And he will attack you.
Great.
Why do the pretty ones always have to be evil?
I've been asking myself that one for a long time, Randy.
Oh.
And he rolled a natural 20, Eric.
I have a cloak of displacement, so I'm pretty sure he
Oh,
missed
you
me.
rascal! Yes, this is where
He
everyone
chops
in
the head off my image. Oh, damn it.
This is where everyone in the room will discover that you have a cloak of
That's right.
displacement.
Yeah.
Eric has a cloak around his shoulders, and it looks like Corlo is going to just try to take his head right off and then just passes through the space where you think Eric is located, but he is not there. That means now that trick doesn't work on him anymore.
Yep.
Okay, so that's him. Next in the initiative order, last, I suppose I should say, in the initiative order is Rhiannon.
Does my spell work?
Nope, it doesn't.
Okay.
Since you're last in the initiative order, you're still last in the initiative order.
So I got this new dispel magic thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can I use that on the flame figures that Frenike made?
I mean, you can try.
I mean, I know that I'm much lower level, I'm sure.
Mhm.
Is it even worth trying? I asked like Joel or somebody who knows 2E. Because I don't have I'm trying to read the text on dispel magic and it's like dense. So
I like that. It's very thick, very thick.
I'm not sure what spell that is she cast, so
I think it's worth trying.
okay, I will try.
All right,
so I
I
Eric
chose the
believes-
Mistra, so
Eric believes it is worth trying. Please
Okay.
roll a 20-sided die.
Okay,
This will tell us what level magic you dispel.
11.
Okay. That is your level, which in your case is 5th. And it would appear as though these are created by magic that's a higher level than that. I'll give you a spoiler and say they came from a magic item, which is 12th base. So that would be your target number. So you'll cast. There'll be a swirling motes of magic go through the air. It kind of looks like you're using magic glitter, and nothing will occur. The dispel magic did not take against those creatures. And we are now coming around to the beginning of round 2. However, before round 2 begins, something happens. Allie, as the first round of this fight ends, the very shadows in the room next to you seem to ripple unnaturally. A soft, almost imperceptible pop breaks the stillness, and in an instant, a figure materializes directly beside you, as if stepping out of the darkness itself. She's striking and instantly recognizable. Illyra, a living silhouette in midnight black armor. Her face is obscured by a sleek crimson domino mask, only her sharp, knowing eyes visible beneath its edges. Draped over her left shoulder is a deep red half-cape. In her gloved hand, she holds a wickedly elegant rapier. She whispers to you, "Ah, I knew I could find my way to this armor. This had better be important. An old acquaintance of mine just spent her final words, and her unlife, mind you, to first convince me to come and save you fools, and then to send me to this rock. So tell me, where do we start?"
I'll glance at her, smirk a little, and then I'll look at Briseis. Say we start with her.
All right. It is about to be the beginning of a new round. Briseis, you decide what you do and just tell me when you get to the initiative order. I have got the numbers for your friends. I will go first to you, Eric. Eric, what do you want to do this round?
I'm going to attack Briseis again.
Okay. I will then go to you, Rhiannon.
I'm doing math. Ask somebody else for a second.
All right.
Spell
Randy,
points and such.
keeping that spell up.
Sorry. Yes.
Okay. Joel.
I will continue attacking.
Okay. Continue to attack. I have. And Allie, I didn't ask you.
Actually, I'm gonna amend what I said slightly because
right.
like people are ganging up on Briseis. I'm gonna change that to nodding to Frenicky,
Okay.
and then I'm going to focus on. My plan is to with Rapier, go at Frenicky.
All right. Sounds good. Eric, I believe we discussed somebody's going to give me a little assistance with Illyra. Do we decide who that somebody was?
I think that'll be me. And she goes ahead and attempts to backstab Frenicky, assuming that Frenicky doesn't know she's there.
She would need to be invisible in order for that to be the case.
Well,
If you
now
wanna do
we're
that.
gonna learn whether Illyra can actually jump through shadows or not, don't we?
Yeah. I guess that's true.
Can
Sure,
she?
yeah.
Can she?
She's at the point where she can. Yes.
Okay.
Did the sword weasel get an action last round?
The sword weasel.
Sword weasel.
Namara was just serving as a blocking agent between Rhiannon and danger. Sword weasel.
So,
Beautiful.
is it
You don't know his name
feasible?
yet? Her name?
Is it
I'm not sure.
feasible that Illyra could leap through the shadows to a place where Frenicky is not aware of her and backstab her? Is that possible?
That is possible, but it's a 2-round affair. Leaping through the shadows is your action for the round. This is 2E. It doesn't give you multiples.
Sure, I get you.
Yep.
That's what she's going to do.
All right. So I know what you're all up to. Please roll 10-sided dice. You got me
Then
thinking
I
20s.
I
Rhiannon
guess Amara serves as distraction.
offers his tribute.
I'm doing a pew pew, by the way, magic missile.
Oh, I didn't come back to you. Magic
Yeah,
missile. Got
Frenicky.
it. Got it. Okay.
I got a 5. Rolled a 5.
Okay. So +1 is 6. Okay. Eric.
With Vindicator speed factor, I got a 5.
Okay, 5. Allie.
I got a 4 again.
Okay. Again, Randy, doesn't matter because you're just using the same spell
Wow.
throughout the round.
Thanks. No,
I
I got a 10,
You matter
but
to me. You matter to me.
I
You just
know,
don't matter to
thank you.
initiative. Initiative doesn't love you. Okay. And Joel.
With a speed factor, I have a 13.
Okay. Oof, it'll be a while. And Briseis.
3 again.
Okay, 3 again it is. All right. So the first person to actually go this round is going to be Frenicky. And she will say to you, Briseis, let's swat their wizard and start casting. The next person to go is got a 3, and that is you, Briseis.
Okay. She is still all focused on Joel because once again you hit the vulnerable spot. And she's gonna cast Eldritch Blast. So she fortunately in this case she can hit Joel and she can also hit Eric.
Yeah.
And Allie's heading away toward Frenicky, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So we'll leave you for later. You and your little sword. So she casts this though. She's gonna be like, I don't know who told you any of that, but that girl is dead, and I'm the one who's gonna fix everything she screwed up. So whatever you think you're gonna taunt me with, forget it. And do I just roll the damage?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. You've been rolling low, so I'm gonna roll you. Keep that one for initiative. No, you're bad too. Okay. That first one is 7 force damage.
Naughty dice.
And it shoves back 10 feet.
All right, that's correct.
Does Eldritch Blast need to roll to hit in this edition?
Nope. There are no warlocks in 2E, Joel.
One of a kind.
Joel and I share this look of, wait, this spell doesn't even exist yet. Bam!
So I'm sorry. What was the total damage?
Okay, so I can target both of them with this, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So first 2, she's gonna hit Joel because again she's really mad. So 7 for the first one, 10 for the second one, and then she's gonna turn and be like, "And you," to Eric, and she's just gonna do one more. Please don't make me look uncool. Die. Oh, that one's the best yet. It's a 14.
Oh gosh.
And each
Does
hit
the sword
knocks
do
them 10
anything?
back.
No. Okay.
Once again.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. So I'm going to introduce everybody I'm going to introduce Aaron and tell everybody the concepts of reels. Again, this is when you're under 10 hit points, you're obviously bleeding and seriously wounded. It's a sort of way of knowing that you're under 10 hit points. Are you under 10 hit points, Joel?
Oh, very much so.
Joel is on the edge of death. Eric, you're not yet under 10 hit points.
Correct.
All right. Excellent. Okay. So that happens. That's a thing that happened, as they like to say. Horlo goes next, and he interposes himself in between the two of you who were menacing Briseis and her. So if you want to come at her again, you're going to need to go through him to get to her. Okay, so that's his action. And then it is Allie's turn. Allie, what do you got for me?
All right. I am going to close with Frenicky and attempt to kind of, perfect fencing form, lunge with the rapier.
She is casting a spell as you are doing this. Please roll a 20-sided die as you are approaching her to lunge with your rapier.
Right. Got a 13 on the die.
Okay. She's a little sparkly. She's got some kind of gritty sparkliness on her.
Okay.
Okay. Roll 20-sided die.
All right. Yeah, I don't know what that is. And I'll note, Amara seems to be moving far more effortlessly than you've normally seen her move in this form.
How
She's
about
been
that?
Mildly clumsy in the previous one.
Upgrade.
Oh, that's a 19 on the die.
All right. So here's that good news, bad news situation I love talking about as a DM. The good news is you hit. You would expect that to be fantastic, an interrupter spell and all this other fun stuff. The bad news is that glittery stuff I talked about, that's a stone skin. And so your blade will hit and bounce right off as if you just plunged it into a stone statue. Crap. This high-level wizard has defenses. Okay.
Great.
So that is Allie at 4. At 5 is Eric.
All right, Carla, you want some of this? You're going to get some of this. Here we go. I attack him instead.
Okay. He wants some of it, Eric. He wants some of it.
Great. Well, let's see. AC 2?
Yep, that'll do for him.
Okay. I hit him again at AC 2 as well. So
Okay,
I hit him
two
with
hits.
both of my attacks. So here we go. $12 points of damage and 13 points of damage. 25
All right,
total.
25 points. He has more hit points than that, but nobody takes 25 hit points of damage and just laughs it off. So
Well, except
he-
like Asmodeus, but
yes,
you know,
yeah, he would, yeah. I mean, no mortal being, and he is most determinedly a mortal being, and he'll give you a look that went from sneering, which was the look he had a moment ago, to concern. Like, this guy, this paladin, who just makes me feel icky, is actually kind of tough. And so, ouch. All right, so that's you at 5.
we could have resolved this peacefully.
we could have resolved this peacefully.
Oh,
all
no,
right.
no, I never say anything so meekly.
Oh, I
You
thought
know
that was
me.
you. No, you're very with the paladin voice. That's not at
Yeah,
all consistent.
that's right.
All right, so Rhiannon at 6.
Mhm.
Who are you casting on?
Frenicky. All
Alright.
3 of them. I get 3, right?
You do get 3, first, third, and fifth. All right, so welcome to another high-level wizard defense. Your magic missiles will go streaking at her, and as they approach to within about 5 feet of her person, something will go off. It's probably a contingency spell, which is one of the things that wizards use, that if this and thus happens, this thing occurs. And a shimmering, about 5-foot diameter, like rainbow field. You can see through it, but it's kind of like rainbow at the edges. If it had like a heat blur to it, goes off around her person, and the magic missiles spatter into nothingness as they strike it. She completes her spell. That spell was aimed at you.
Okay.
And as her
In this edition,
actually-
is shield a reaction or is it just a plain spell?
plain spell. In this instance, it wouldn't have helped you anyway. This spell took a long time to cast, which means it's not magic missile. Instead, it's a sickly green ray streaking towards you. And the air itself seems to recoil from the presence of that ray. But the moment that it strikes you, you feel an unnatural pull deep within your chest, as though the spell's power was yanked away before it could do its destructive work. There's no searing pain, no burning wound, only an overwhelming rush of energy, raw and untamed, surging into your very being. Your body jolts involuntarily as the magic is absorbed, and the veins on the back of your hands, you know how you can sort of see them because
Yeah.
they stand up, are suddenly alight with an electric blue glow that pulses outward from your heart. Your fingers tingle, and to your eyes alone, a faint silvery blue aura begins to radiate from your hands, licking at the air like flame. This energy has settled within you, coiled and thrumming, and is ready to be unleashed. Frenicky will look confused. That was disintegrate. That should have more than done for a wizard who threw 3 magic missiles her way, because that wizard would be 5th or 6th level. So that was interesting. Okay. And then, as we come to the tail end of the round, Joel at 13 is on mute.
I am. So it is pretty clear that my sword is not effective. So
It is
I am
pretty clear.
instead. I'm going to move in for a grapple, and try to tackle Briseis to the ground.
Okay, Briseis fanboy. So I want to say a thing to you before you do this.
I
The
never
thing-
say
the thing-
this,
Don't make
but
it
don't
weird.
swallow.
Yeah.
This is a tactical decision.
The thing I want to say to you is, just a moment ago, I pointed out to you that you were under 10 hit points.
Mhm.
And if you recall from the DM's helpful notes about everyone's gear and equipment, you have both an extra healing potion and a healing potion on your person.
Mhm.
So, I don't know, before you throw yourself at the high level evil being, maybe a nip before you go rolling in there?
Consuming the potion would take my action for the round, right?
It would take your action.
Then
for the
I
round.
absolutely cannot take another hit, and she doesn't need to roll for attack. So my best option is to make it so she can't cast.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mr. Tactical. Let's see how this one plays out.
I
Please
think
roll.
you're misunderstanding. He's not saying it's his best choice. He's saying it's his only choice.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we all got to do what we got to do.
So just a D20? I don't really remember how grappling works in 2E.
It's flat FACO unless you have wrestling specialization. And
I
I'm pretty sure
don't,
you don't.
and that's an 8, so I presume that does not hit.
So Briseis, you didn't have the satisfaction of killing him this round, but you did have the satisfaction of watching him try to throw himself at you and miss wildly. I don't know what that guy's deal is, but he's crazy. Maybe he's drunk or something. Okay. So
He just wants your autograph.
I mean, as the round comes to a close, I'll
I'll
work into my song. You guys are doing great.
Briseis, sign my shield.
Fair enough. All right, and we will be rolling around into the start of round 3. Beginning of round 3, I'll come to you last, Joel, because good God. And I'll start with you. Allie. What have you got?
Well, realizing that we are vastly outmatched.
We're just a little.
And I don't know how to bust through second edition Stone Skin. I'm gonna try again, but I'm also going to kind of mutter my offhand. I'm gripping the freaking pendant, and I'm like, Dark Maiden, if you I'm gonna try because the voice was never helpful when I needed the voice to be helpful, and I'm just like, Dark Maiden, if you can grant me something to help us survive this, please, as I'm thinking that as I'm trying to skewer Freneke.
All right, entirely reasonable. All right, so that's you, Allie. Eric?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to attack Corlo again. Ilra is going to throw a handful of ball bearings at Freneke's back.
We're using the R.A. Salvatore trick.
We are.
You crafty bugger, you. All right. Okay, so you'll do that. She'll do that. I'll just have you both act on the same initiative. Okay.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Ball bearings are pretty fast Anyway, that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. So she has to get the ball bearings from somewhere. She's fishing for ball bearings. That's the deal.
Excuse me, I have to get my balls out.
Yes, there you go. So
all 50 of them.
So as a fighter, Eric, based on the damage you did to him last round, you'd probably need to do that to him twice more to bring him down. So that's kind of where you're at with that. Okay.
I mean,
give you a sense of his capabilities.
Much else to do. So
I'm not questioning your whatchamabut. I'm just trying to give you a sense of where you stand in the fight. All right. So that's you, Randy, keeping up that spell. All right, Joel. I promised I'd come to you last. I lied. I'm waiting for Rhiannon last. So what have you got for me?
I will. If I'm still alive when my turn comes up, I will try the same thing again.
Wow. Okay. I will give you credit for the most determined player in the game. You got the determined player award.
That's the thing with Wile E. Coyote. He tries once and then he fails, and he doesn't try the same thing again and improve on it.
And sometimes these things work. Okay, Rhiannon, what have you got?
So I got some magical power, and the last time I tried to turn some of that to healing, it went really wrong, and I don't trust yet to try that again. So I'm going to, is Freneke and Corlo still sort of between us and the door out of this little room?
This fight's taking place kind of in the middle of the room at the moment, so that no one's guarding the door out because the invisible wall of force no one can take down is guarding the door out.
Okay. Because I'm much more inclined to, rather than throwing down with Freneke, trying to sneak around and then use the magic against the wall of force.
I mean, you don't know what will or will not take it down a wall of force, so maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But you do know this thing is burning a hole in your proverbial pocket.
Yes.
So what do you want to do?
Then again, Freneke will continue messing everybody up. I don't know, Freneke.
All right, so you'll turn around and unleash that at her. That occurs at your initiative roll, whatever your initiative roll is. All right, so Briseis, I trust you have your plan for the round?
Mm-hmm.
And we shall roll our initiatives. Okay, everybody give that a shot.
4 + 1.
Okay, so 5 for Rhiannon. Hang on, you got it so fast I didn't even get to roll for those other guys. Alrighty, and Eric.
Got a total of 4.
Total of 4. Okay, Allie.
I got a 1.
All right, 1. Randy. 4, but initiative doesn't love
4.
you.
Yeah.
Joel.
I have a 5.
5. And it's the under 5 crew for initiatives. Rhiannon, you already told me 5. Well, I suppose I should call you the 5 and under crew. And Briseis.
I got an 8.
Okay, so you'll be going a little slower than these guys this round. Okay, Allie, you will attack.
There might be a chance.
Question: Is what initiative is Ilra on?
She's on Eric's initiative, which
On
is
Eric's?
4.
Okay.
Well, if yeah.
If you want to, Allie, because you see Ilra behind Krennicky, right? If you want to deliberately not act on your initiative and wait until after she's gone, I'll give you same way I did with Rhiannon, you'll get to go last in the round.
Okay. What advantage does that get? Okay.
If she has some clever scheme up her
That's
hands,
true,
that
and
makes no sense.
I'm still trying to like asking for help from
Okay.
on high.
She's gonna give a winsome smile to Mara. Like, I read about a trick for this in a chat book once. Anyway.
So yeah, I'll hold.
All right, that pretty clearly says, wait for me. Okay. So that will take us to the next person to go. Hang on one second. I can't read my own handwriting, which is a 4 Randy, which initiative doesn't love Randy. A 4 Eric and Ilra. So Ilra will hurl the handful of ball bearings at Krennicky, and they'll go bouncing off her back. Please roll a 20-sided die, Allie.
Me?
Yep.
All right. 14.
Okay. The glitter is gone. Whatever just happened got rid of that spell. Okay.
All right.
So that's you, Eric. What are you doing it for?
Acting Carlo again.
Okay.
Except this time I'm going to say, yield, and I shall spare you.
Please, he'll say. It's drawing out the please a part of that.
I mean, I did just crit him, so...
I mean, sure. You hit him. Yeah, he underestimated you. That's a thing that happened.
Yep, it's continuing to happen.
Yeah.
That's going to be 12. Do I just double it, or what happens exactly? Or do I just hit him?
You just hit him. You just won your one attack, right? Is that the question?
Correct. Does my crit do extra damage? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, the way we do criticals is, remember, you roll open-ended 20s. And if you roll a second 20, it doubles. And if you roll a third 20, it triples. And if you roll a fourth 20, it quadruples. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, well, I didn't roll a second 20.
All right, so 120
it is.
120. Okay. He attempts to parry and fails. So you will hit him. Damage?
So I did 12 points of damage to him.
Oh, so that was the 12. All right.
Yep.
And I'm assuming everyone's remembering, but +1 on your attacks and saves and everything, and -1 on damage. So.
Okay. So
and everybody sort of near me gets a +2 on their AC and on their saving throws from my paladin aura. Not me, but all of you do.
He'll say, "You're better than you look." You estimate he's about half of his hit points. Okay, so that's you at 4.
Do you pick up your complimenting style from your mistress?
He'll smirk at that. He is not permitted to make negative comments on the subject, so all he can do is smirk and think to himself.
It's in the contract, no disparagement clause.
All right. Rhiannon, you're doing a thing that's easier than throwing yourself at a person. Yep. So you're going to go first. So, I mean, do we just aim and say, oh?
I mean, when using the other new spells, there was a sort of sense of I make an effort and shit happens. Yep. And I just hope it's not bad.
Shit is about to happen. So, okay. So you'll aim and And your arm raises almost of its own accord as you feel the coiled power within your chest begin to unfurl. Your outstretched hand glows with an otherworldly light, tendrils of silver and blue flame curling around your fingers, flickering like living fire. And then you let it go. It feels good, right, pure, just. This power is finally yours from deep within the heart of your being. Mistra's gift brought to life in your hands. The energy explodes from your hand in a dazzling bolt of silvery blue flame, a concentrated stream of pure incandescent power. The beam roars towards its target, consuming everything in the path with an eerie, almost serene grace. Wooden tables splinter out of the way and catch fire, and the air crackles with the raw intensity of the magic released. Kind of looks like, you see the movie Ghostbusters? You know that they throw the witchermobile? It looks a bit like that coming across the room, different color. The light is almost too bright to look at, and it's a searing brilliance that fills your field of vision. The bolt strikes its target dead on, and her defenses, that shimmering aura, spells, shields, armor, all as if they didn't exist, fail to stop it. The silver blue energy pierces through them effortlessly, and its raw energy burning away enchantments and protections in an instant. Then the bolt dissipates, leaving only a glowing, smoldering path in its wake. At the last echoes of that energy fade, the room falls silent for a second, save for the crackle of that fire. And while the silver blue glow has diminished, surrounding your hand has diminished slightly, it's got a faint aura remaining, pulsating gently, reminding that you still have some of it. Here's my question. You had up to 6. How much did you want to throw?
Oh. Let's say 4.
Okay. Please roll 46 for me.
Okay. Uh, 17.
Okay. You will run that gout of silver blue flame along her, and she will look shocked as it just pours right through. You're a 5th level caster. You can't cast spells that can pierce the barrier that she has up. But this just went through everything that she had on her, and it tears right into her. She's not in reels, but you'll see scouring damage go across her, and she will mutter in surprise, hellfire? And then we come to the bravest man in the room. Joel?
All right, I follow through and attempt to grapple again.
All right, do it, buddy.
And I got a 1.
Hey!
Welcome to open-ended ones. Could you roll again, please?
Oh
Okay.
my god.
Oh no.
I got an 8, which
Okay.
becomes a 9 from Randy.
You stagger to a stop
Oh boy.
directly in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't fall like unconscious at her feet, but you will stagger to a stop directly in front of her. And you know whose turn it is? It's her turn, Joel.
Did I not go that round? Because I was supposed to go last.
You go last.
Oh yeah,
This
that's
is
right.
last.
That's right. Last
Yeah,
after.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We're good.
No worries at all. Okay, so Briseis, what do you got for me? This guy just delivered himself directly in front of you.
Man. As Aaron, I have to be like, God, I feel so mean. But that's why I'm here. I'm here. I'm here
You
to
are
give
here.
you guys a big villain for your finale.
Yeah.
So, Joel, you're standing before her, kind of unsteady, and she puts her hands on her shoulders and goes, I bet you think you're a really good person, too, don't you? And then she's going to trigger a fireball on herself.
Oh,
Wow.
Okay, so if you could roll 10d6.
Yeah.
You're doing great, Joel.
you got this, buddy.
I've been reassured
I
there
got
are
something.
contingency plans if I murder anybody.
Don't worry about
There's
it.
Always,
It's fine.
Always, whatever. Yeah. You're just doing as you would do in these situations.
And I'm sending you the damage.
Okay. Joel, I mean, this is what I like to call rolling for the texture of the ashes, but if you could please roll a 20-sided die for me.
Look, if he was hoping for mercy, he would not have done any of this.
He's playing the wrong game if he's hoping for mercy.
I got a 1 again, so that die's going away.
Great news. It's hard to fail worse than that, but you do still need to roll one more time.
Yep.
This is for your equipment, buddy.
Oh no!
A 5.
Joel doesn't have much equipment. Okay. So, Joel, this is where one of those things comes back to bite you a little bit, in the same way that it came back to bite Eric at the conclusion of season 1. It's odd how these things just identically occur. Eric, you denuded yourself of all divine power because you wanted a sword. And so you grabbed for the stars and you came back with Vindicator, but you sucked yourself dry of any and all of the Mark's capabilities in so doing. Joel arrived at this situation in an entirely different way. He gave it all away because he was working an angle, and I will give him credit for the fact that he was working an angle. But that angle didn't achieve what he wanted it to achieve, and so now he stands before Briseis naked of any defenses. You just took 32 hit points, buddy. You die at -10. What are you at?
That took me to -28.
Excellent news. You die in that instant, slamming to the ground. You and I have a little scene to do, but that's going to be after this episode. And he'll satisfyingly burn right in front of you and drop to the ground. The fire will roll out. It will not harm your companions because they are prepared for that. Rhiannon, you are at the edge of this blast. This is a good news, bad news situation. Good news, or bad news, you're at the edge of this blast. Good news, you're at the edge of this blast. Add 3 to what you have in your tank as the fire that would have otherwise burned you is absorbed as it rolls over you. Randy, you're outside it. Allie, please roll percentile dice for me.
Okay.
So when you say
9.
add spell points or add hit points?
The way Spellfire works is you have a certain number of dice that you can deal with. You started with 6 because that was the disintegrate you absorbed.
Gotcha.
You spent 4, that left you with 2. You now are back up to 5.
Okay, gotcha.
So Allie, you rolled a 9 out of
I rolled a
100.
9.
Once again, the gods are with you, and you will take no damage from this fireball as it comes rolling out across. Eric, could you please roll a 20-sided die?
Do I have any cover behind this asshole who's in my way?
Behind the asshole! I will give you asshole cover, +2.
Great. Okay. I got a 13.
That'll do the trick.
So I think that succeeds at my level. Yeah.
It does. So I believe you said 32, correct, Briseis?
Yes.
Okay, so half of 32, someone check my math, is 16.
Yep.
Are you in reels yet?
Oh, I'm looking real bad.
All right,
But I'm still up.
rough around the edges, but still in the fight. All right.
No, almost dead is how I look.
Almost dead, but still kind of, sort of sideways in the fight.
I am holding on through sheer willpower and divine blessing. That's it.
All right, that's a good combo. Keep in mind the healing potions. Cough, cough.
It is
like,
a very shonen anime moment where I'm just like, I refuse to die.
Corlo spent his round.
You guys are doing pretty good there.
Corlo spent his round trying to parry against you. So that was his round. Franiki will take a step forward like she's trying to move towards Briseis, and this is when you'll attempt to stab her. Allie?
All right. First off, anything from the attempting to...
Oh, yes. Hey, Ed Greenwood. I got you here. So Allie just called out to Elistray for a little bit of assistance here in this situation. That assistance was started out on the, hey, there's this spell, I can't get through it. I kind of need some assistance to get through this spell. That spell's gone, so that's no longer, that wildly dramatic assistance is not required. But, help a sister out. What have you got for me, Ed Greenwood?
I think he can't hear you.
Uh-oh. Bring the ceiling down.
We have been abandoned.
Not on you. On your opponents.
So you're saying a chunk of whatever is going to come down?
Yeah.
Whacking. Okay. All right. That's what Ed Greenwood. Ed Greenwood, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Trusting him entirely. Okay.
Inferior desecrator.
Yeah. So that's going to be three. That's going to be 3d6. I'll let you roll it.
Okay. It's only 9.
Okay. So 9 damage in addition to whatever you might be able to pull off here.
All right. So yeah, I'll see that come down. I'm like, okay, I guess, and I'll lunge with the because I'm guessing that knocks her off balance a little bit too.
Certainly a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, and that is gonna be math here. 18 total. So it hits a -3.
All right, -3 will do it, especially when your back is turned.
And I hit with, let's see, d6 plus 1.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, I'm sure she's still far too aware of me for me to backstab, but...
Oh, no, this is a backstab.
Oh, lovely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's 4 total, but with the backstab... 12.
All right. So, ouch, that hurt. She's not in reels, but she is not looking great. And she will stumble next to you, Briseis, and say, "That's spellfire. I'm not sure this is worth dying over."
Nobody's dying over anything. I'm done here. We have some babies to go collect.
You know that guy who you were mocking before, Eric? He's laughing now. You know, who laughs last death. Okay, and that's the end of round 3. It's about to be the beginning of round 4. I have a feeling I know what the bad guys are up to. Joel, you are dead. So I will not ask you what you are doing this round. You will be in some
smoldering
dimension somewhere, engaging in conversation with me, but that will come at another time. Eric?
You're laughing, but I'm the one who kept your attention on me and not on her. I'm attacking him again.
Bring it! Okay, so attacking him.
Yep.
Randy, keeping the spell in place?
Yep.
Okay. Allie?
Let's see. So, I mean, I'll follow up. Like, I will close distance since she kind of backed away toward Briseis, and
you will be
to...
in close proximity to the two of them.
I'm aware.
As long as you are.
Yeah. Like, hazarding a glance at the smoldering Joel over there, and
he does not look like healing will assist him.
The scorpion fatality, Joel,
no,
right there.
That is definitely not.
But killed by someone he loved. That's the important thing. Okay.
Very, very one-sided romance.
Right.
Very one-sided.
So you'll attack? Is that the goal, Allie?
Well, now I'm reconsidering. Well, because, like, okay, they're backing. They're because it seems like
Briseis just very clearly said out loud.
Yeah.
Time to leave.
I think at that point, given how outmatched we are, I think Amara will stay ready, but I'm not gonna attack.
Okay, so you'll hold.
That feels
see what
foolish
happens this round. Okay.
Yes.
Eric, if I asked you this, I have. What is?
Well,
Ilra
I
doing?
didn't tell you what Ilra was doing.
Yeah.
She is gonna backstab Briseis' wizard there.
All right, try and kill the wizard. Everyone loves to kill wizards. Okay, and Rhiannon?
Well, since they said they're leaving, people have this habit of leaving but then not unblocking our path to leave after them. So I think I want to keep at least some of the spellfire to, like, make a new door if necessary.
That doesn't make sense.
If you can't get rid of the door, make another door.
Exactly, right?
Yep, that's reasonable, yeah.
But that doesn't mean I need to keep all of it. So I've got 5. I'm thinking I'm going to spend another 3 on Frenicky, and then keep 2 for other purposes.
All right. Sounds good to me. Time for us to roll those initiatives that everyone loves so much. Lost my red D10, so I'm going to have to roll my white D10. Well, thank you, white D10. Eric.
So I rolled a 3 with speed factor. That's 6 for Elric and 5 for Ilra. I don't know.
6 and 5. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep.
Rapier's got a speed factor of 4 minus whatever the magic of the blade is.
Right, just a little extra fast.
Ellie?
All right, factoring in the rapier, I got 6.
Okay, 6. Randy, you're just initiative doesn't love you, so you're just going last. Joel is dead. Rhiannon?
Rolled a 2, so 3, I guess.
3 it is. And Briseis?
4.
Okay, 4. All right. So Frenicky won, rolling a natural 1, because I said my white 10-sided die helps me out. And what she's doing is a 1-segment spell, so she goes in 2. She will utter a guttural word of power, and a circle of magical energy will sort of envelop her, Briseis, and Corlo. And that swallows them with an audible pop, and they will vanish from the room. Okay. So next in the initiative order is 3 Briseis, 4. What do you want to do at 4? Your target's gone.
Who?
Sorry, did you say it's mine?
Oh, I apologize. You're all set because I assume
Cool.
leaving the room was what
I'm
you
like,
wanted to do.
I don't know where I am right now.
Yeah. You have gone out of this building.
Parting shot.
Rhiannon, I thought you were at 4.
I was at 3, but anyway, I think
apologies.
it's probably
3.
me.
Yes.
Right. So, the magic in my hands, I get the sense that I gotta use it, right? I can't sort of like tuck it away and like.
Nope. There's no reason why you have to burn it. It wanted, it was interested in release because it had just arrived, but it is not itching at you in a way that you must expend it.
Okay.
Your capability to store it is considerable.
And I'm going to Joel. I can't do anything, but
Let's see. I mean, maybe there's something there. Okay. So you will head over in his direction. We're going to drop out of initiative now because the villains have left the room. FYI, remember those 3 fiery guys? Eric was keeping them at bay because his aura of protection doesn't allow them to penetrate it, which is why they were lurking on the edge of this fight and I never mentioned them again. But they'll collapse to ash as soon as Frenicky leaves the room. So what do you all want to do? I know Rhiannon's running over in the direction of downed Joel.
I'm gonna
Randy,
head that way as
Eric?
well.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll head that.
Allie,
Well, yeah, I got my
Ilra will
thing.
cut you off on the way there and sort of pull you over into a corner for a conversation.
All
Okay.
right.
So, Allie, the battle is at an end. You seem to have survived it remarkably enough. You've come through it, changed from the start to the end of it because of the rather dramatic events that occurred in the battle. And at the moment, given the information that came out in the course of the big bad speechifying, the rest of the crew seem way more interested in what's going on, not in this bar, which is still minus its beholder proprietor, than you. So that's going to leave this moment, kind of like, the classic 80s action movie, the fight just ended moment. And, you're kind of looking at each other across the shattered battlefield. And, you've got a moment to talk with you and Ilra. And so you'll see that she's cleaning blood off her blade and about to put it away. And you get the distinct impression, you've got a sort of sense for her and how she acts and how she behaves and whatever the case may be, that she's ready to, okay, I came, I did my thing, I evened my ledger, there's that door. So if you don't want her to just walk right through it, I think you're gonna have to say something.
Yeah. As I kind of catch that too. Like she's kind of like already eyeing the exit, and I'll
Mhm.
kind of like I won't step in the way, but I'll speak up, and I'll just kind of like smile a little and go, I was wondering when you'd show up.
You are lucky that I owed your friend a favor. I pay my debts, even if it takes me a while to do that. But this
See.
debt's paid. And while I had fun for Hayfahor, and to me it looks like I could have some more, is there some reason that you're keeping me here? I don't really want to be near, she's pointing in the direction of Eric, him. He's boring.
I know. But you don't have to interact with him. I'm here.
The last time we
And-
interacted, he was around.
Oh, I'm aware. It was rather awkward.
Not for me.
It was. I did take some amusement out of it. I
Really
will
for
admit.
you, if I recall. And you'll notice that she's eyeing your form, like, so if you're with someone and they're dressed up as a whatchamabob, or they've changed, is it kind of like you're being with yet another new person? You get the impression that these calculations are going through.
Yeah. Well, I certainly had my own bit of fun that night. But I'm going to guess that you didn't get my message.
No, I did not. The only message that brought me here was Jamal showing up in the middle of the bloody forest, telling me that I had to save all of your lives, and reminding me that I owed her one. And I don't know, implying that the god Finder would somehow be pleased. I'm expecting some sort of remuneration there.
I'm sure you'll get it. Well, I'd certainly been hoping to talk to you again. Mostly because I think we can help each other.
Of course you do. Everyone who finds me attractive thinks that we can help each other. Just to be clear.
I'm not surprised. Regardless, I wanted to offer an exchange.
I'm
of a
always
sort.
interested in exchanges. But I will warn you, he, she's again pointing at Eric, looks at me in a certain way. Like he's the father I never had. And I don't want that from him or the mother I never had from you. So
Oh.
let's just be clear.
No. Look. My own feelings aside, I have no interest in you in that manner, certainly. Certainly not after that other night, but really, well, my exchange idea is more information that could help you in exchange for instruction that could help me.
You get the impression that she completely misunderstood or deliberately misunderstood the area of instruction she would be delivering.
Of course.
I'm always happy to help people with less information get more information, particularly about things like pleasure.
I mean, that can certainly be something we could discuss outside of this, but I had something else in mind.
Oh, I see. Something more pedestrian and less exciting. Who are all of you? You're clearly not normal people, not after that fight.
Now, it's hard to explain. Well, I suppose it's fair enough to say that this, and she'll kind of motion to herself, wasn't the form I came here with. Neither
That part
was-
I knew.
And you'd already figured out that the form I was wearing the last time wasn't the form that I came here with either.
You wore it as if you had been newly born into it. There is a certain way that a person who is in a body behaves, carries themselves, etc. And I could just tell that you were a newborn. Now, you did a very good job with it that night, and you've gained in power and comfort since. But,
I have.
yes, you are clearly some kind of shape changer, yes?
That's complicated. I'm not a doppelganger or some kind of changeling. More, I was duped, I suppose you could put it. A being that my group and I had some manner of contact with offered me a chance to become something new. And I chose a form that I thought would be mine.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the fact that it was your face at all was a surprise.
I am not dumb. I know that you know, and again, pointing at Eric, he knows way more about me than you should. I assume that that has something to do with my divine patron. You can tell that this is a complicated relationship that she has with her divine patron. Because
Yes,
from time to time, he
well.
pushes people into my path when he wants me to do things.
Well, I haven't had any contact with your patron, though I'm aware of him, and how complicated that relationship is. In fact, and she'll kind of motion to the necklace, I know that's why you wear that, or one of the reasons.
Her eyes will narrow dangerously. You realize, of course, that the more you tell me, this is pitched at you so no one else in the room can hear it, about what you know about my secrets, the more dangerous you become to me, and the more incentive you give me to take action connected with that danger. I am not going to leave a dagger in your hand pointed at my throat.
And I have no interest in burying a dagger in that throat either.
How do I know that other than you just telling me that's the case? Forgive me for not trusting people that have come to me pretending to be my friends.
I know that because in many ways, you and I are similar. I recognize that.
Creatures of
Issues
chaos?
with creatures of chaos, trust issues, a long string of, well, relationships that have gone poorly due to those trust issues.
Manipulation by the gods? That's the one that really sticks out to me.
Yes, it's certainly become more clear than ever that this whole time I had a voice in my head that proved to be, as I truly realized from the jump, untrustworthy. The gods
I make it a point only to trust the voices in my head that sound exactly like me.
That's the problem. It did sound exactly like you.
Must have known what you wanted then.
All too well. Better than I did, certainly, though I've come around. But the choice I made tonight, well, I can't say that it or its benefactors are going to be happy with me.
Their loss. We put a blade in a number of them.
Certainly.
I'm sure they won't forgive you for the slight, but I make enemies. It's something that anyone with power does. Look, I'll be frank with you. They seem distracted. Again, now we're pointing in the direction of the entire party. And I've paid my debt. I'm done with do-gooder missions to rescue those in need. If you're prepared to walk with me right now from this place, you're welcome to join me, at least for a little while. And we'll get to know each other. And I'll determine whether or not I'll be putting a blade in your throat if I think you're putting a blade in mine. If you aren't, I'm going to walk right out those doors and be gone. Because you won't find me if I don't want to be found. Your one way of doing it is gone now.
I know. And that's the unfortunate thing. I believe I can help you, but what I offer, I'm not going to offer with any particular strings. I know. All I ask, and I ask for something in return, but even then, I'm going to offer you the information regardless. Because in the end, I know that there are so few people in this world that you can trust. And while I'm taking a chance to ask you to trust my word, I'm not going to expect... I'm not going to expect you to stick around just because I have something interesting to say. I'm just going to offer it. So here it is.
She's listening.
I come from a place where many of the things that happen here, certainly not this, but many things that happen here are known in stories and the writings of, well, you've seen chapbooks.
Is that what he was alluding to in our conversation last time?
Yes. We know things that happen in this world, in this place. And there are things laying ahead of you that no person should ever be forced to go through.
Are you telling me you're here to prevent my death? Because I don't die easily.
There are fates worse than death, Illyra.
You'll see that she will actually, for the first time since you've ever seen her, pale a little bit. Like that could be true, and that it is possible that she might experience something that is worse than what she has experienced so far in life. Tends to be the jaded sort who believes she's gone through it all, world weary. Mm-hmm. But you seem so earnest about it, you have apparently persuaded her that there is some horrible fate worse than death lying in her future.
There are going to be things that happen that will break your heart in ways that it has not been yet broken.
My heart does not break easily.
No, I know that.
If you know anything about me, you know that.
I know that.
And you are telling me this so that I can avoid that fate?
That's the hope.
She'll put a hand on the amulet around her neck, and she will play with it a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. And she will say, "Is fate something that can be avoided?"
Just a moment. I gotta change my headset. Yeah. My ear's coming off.
Hopefully not, okay. In game.
Yeah, no, not in game.
Yeah.
Say that again.
She's fingering the necklace, binding her to her patron, and she is saying, "Is fate something that can be avoided?"
I believe so. I believe that I've never believed that anything is written in stone. That if we can change what's coming, then the future is ours to write.
Are you not just from another place, but also from another time? Do you know my future? Because the now that we stand in has already been written into the future.
In my world, yes.
She will take a step back, like she's shocked a bit by that information. do you sort of go to steady her?
Yeah, I'll gently, like it's not an aggressive movement, it's a gentle step, and I'll place a hand on her
Perfect, because
arm.
that was a trap. She took that step back so that she would put herself out of the line of sight of the rest of the group, create a corner that would break line of sight of the rest of the group and drag you with her. And you'll come in, place your hands on her in an attempt to steady her in a way that opens you up to attack. And you will find an instant later that she has produced a blade with her offhand and placed it against your heart.
I won't make a move.
I have one question for you. If you are serious enough about avoiding a dark fate for me, that you are willing to take that dark fate upon yourself when the moment comes, then I will carry you along with me, and you will be my shield against that fate. And you will prove to me that your words are true.
Take your place, huh?
If you know what's coming, then you will know the moments when I cannot be at risk.
I'm gonna take a second here because out of character, I want to clarify.
Yep.
If I agree to this, does that remove
No.
me from the campaign? Okay.
It does not. Because remember, these things are going to occur at a point in the future, so blah, blah, blah. Also, she's asking you for a thing. She's trying to flip you around in a spot and say, okay, I'll let you know a thing. She's deduced, because she's really good at reading people, from the conversation that the two of you are having and the information that you've given her, that you probably are in love with her. And she is testing that theory by asking you whether or not you would be willing to give your life for hers functionally. That's her way of trying to ask that question without asking you the question. That's what's happening here.
All right. So just to be clear, if we do a book 3, I'm not out of the picture.
You are not out of the picture.
Okay.
There are many roads to go before the events of something darkness.
Depths of Madness.
Yeah, Madness take
That's
place
like
in
2 years in the future.
Yeah, I was gonna say take place in 1374. And from what I know about what she's up to in that time frame, nothing tremendously awful other than like some unpleasantness in Westgate happens in that time frame. And you've seen that for me, it takes about 3 days to run an entire book. So you could probably be on book.
So
book
there'll
78.
be a moment, but she'll hold Illyra's eyes. She's made no motions to
defend,
move away from the dagger. In fact, she'll kind of like she's not like fully leaning into it because she doesn't want to like completely get hurt, but she's just like adding pressure to add kind of emphasis. When the time comes, yes.
And when you say that, she'll look you in the eye like she's reading you, like she's bending the power of her perception to try to determine whether or not she genuinely believes that what you are telling her is the truth or not the truth. And it's pretty powerful and potent powers of perception at lie detection, right? To determine whether or not that's what's in your heart is really what's in your heart by just locking eyes with you. And it's clear she's decided not to kill you because the blade moves away from your heart. But an equally unexpected thing occurs, and she will plant a fierce kiss on you. She will just lean in and plant a fierce kiss on you. And then you'll feel yourself slipping into darkness, like jumping as you've done with the armor. And you and she are standing on the street outside of this place. And that is where we will end this little conversation. Okay. All right. So Randy, Rhiannon, Eric, you'll get to what is left of Joel in a moment. And you'll know, Rhiannon, you got there a heartbeat before anybody else did. And you will know that there is nothing you can do here. Exposed vital organs are partially destroyed. So he is dead, long beyond or long past hope of recovery. You do know that Eric died once, and Joel was able to bring him back by expending power at a holy site to Aminator. Now, Joel's the one dead, and you're not in a holy site to Aminator, but you can always give something a whirl if you like. But I will point this out to you, right? The battle's over, and as the battle is over, the place is in disarray, tables are overturned, drinks are spilled, small fires are burning here and there, big fires are burning here and there, and the smell of burnt wood, smoke, cooking Joel is all about the room. Amid the chaos, those of you that are able to notice it will notice that Ali and Illyra have tucked themselves into a shadowy corner, speaking quietly with their faces just a couple inches apart from one another. Whatever they're discussing seems pretty personal, because you can tell that just from the intensity of their whispers at this distance. You don't have much of a chance to do much beyond look down at Joel when Namara, who was standing next to you during all of this, will move up next to him as well and say, I am sorry, Lady Rhiannon, but it would appear that he is dead. And while I cannot bring him back here, if we can get him to a temple of Mistra, we can achieve that goal.
Okay.
Someone get the dustpan.
Shut up.
It's what Joel would have wanted me to say.
Nim will cough and say, Lady Rhiannon, perhaps this is a moment where you might formally introduce me to your companions. I think it might be proper given the circumstances.
Yes, so not Ferris, but Namara, in a form who can now talk to us, apparently. Where's the nearest temple of Mistra, then? I would normally ask Joel, because he knows a lot of these things. Eric?
Well, I don't know much about the Rock of Brawl.
We'll put his little tiny hand up.
Yeah.
Actually, I happen to have this answer. The closest temple to Mistra is located in Waterdeep, below us. A place I think you want to go. Yes?
Yes.
Well, before we do that, first, allow me to confirm the most obvious answer. Yes, Lady Rhiannon now bears Spellfire, a gift from Lady Midnight. But a word of caution, Spellfire is a power many would seek to control. I strongly advise against spreading that knowledge openly. I'm afraid we've already told some villains, but discretion, as they say, is the better part of valor. As to me, yes, I was placed where I was most needed by Lady Midnight in anticipation of the Lord of the Nine's inevitable betrayal. My apologies for the deceit and unfortunate method of my revelation. I assure you it was not my choice to conceal myself, but a necessity dictated by the circumstances. I will remain with you to assist Lady Rhiannon in mastering the basics of her newfound power. Spellfire is potent, yes, but also volatile. It requires discipline and careful guidance. You remember how he was kind of a prude and, all these other... Yeah, you're really getting that from his vocal personality. He's definitely very prim and proper.
Oh, no, he's lawful neutral. Oh, no.
Oh, I was going to ask if you could be a ferret again so I could, hug him. Because I don't feel like you really want to, just go up to Puss in Boots and, just hug.
Do you want to ask him, can you be... Do you want to...
Oh,
yes,
wow.
I do, because, I
Please
covered
do.
the Mistra part, the Temple of Mistra part, and, Joel's not getting deader. So...
I'm busy collecting Joel's body.
Yeah, by the moment, into whatever gift that you've got to transport it. Okay, so he'll look at you, wrinkle his nose slightly, and say, yes, that transformation was not one way. I am able to conceal this form by taking the form that I was originally in. I was a familiar myself at one time in life. I was simply raised to this sentience and to my position as a celestial being by Lady Midnight when she inherited the mantle of the Goddess of Magic. So, if you'd like a hug, and he'll shimmer in place, and now you got a ferret again, and he'll jump up so that you can give him scritches.
Okay, yeah, because I do need a hug.
Okay. Hug delivered. All right, so hey, Randy, Eric, could you roll a 20-sided die for me?
Just to determine how good I am at sweeping. Yeah, it's not important. I rolled a 15.
10.
Okay. 10, Randy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you've swept up what you believe, Eric, are the remains, or, the majority of the remains of Joel. There's some components of the ash that you're just not going to be able to collect, but like the major part of the body, right?
I
Storm, and it's like the fly where...
I wrap his remains in cloth with quite a bit of respect and dignity. I did make a gallows joke about him, but I am emotionally like...
He is your friend, and he is
my
dead,
friend.
even if that is only a temporary fate. Okay.
Correct.
So, as you complete doing this, you're looking around the room, trying to figure out what's next, and your eyes will wander over toward the shadowed corner where Ali and Illyra had been speaking just moments before. That corner's empty. The space where the two women had stood is completely devoid of any trace of them. No sound, no movement, nothing.
Ali is gone as well, you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we'll see her again.
I'm just outside, guys.
He said very dramatically. We open the door, and Mara's like...
And then, Eric, where are you keeping Vindicator?
Well, at the moment, it is lying on the ground next to Joel's burned corpse, so that I have light
to gather him up. Okay.
Yeah.
So the light that it's casting from the ground and the sword itself vanishes. No warning.
Okay.
It's just gone. One moment it was lying there, the next it's gone, as if snatched away by desperate, unseen hands. And that is where we will end our episode and season 2 of Isekai Realms. Thank you all for joining us on this lovely little adventure, with a special thank you to Erin Evans for playing her creation of the delightfully evil Versailles Kakistos, and Ed Greenwood for playing his creation, Mistra, and Finder Wyvern Spur, who's still a good dude. And to all of you, the players, for putting up with the torture I put you through. And to you, Joel, for being a very good sport about being swatted like a fly. Eric, over to you.
Man. Scorpion fatality on Joel. Yes, I have been Eric Scotsby, playing Elric, Paladin, ? Of Helm. I mean, whenever my sword just disappears without me doing anything, I start to wonder anyway, but I guess we'll find out in the next season. I had a book that just came out. It's a third one in my Justice Vengeance series. It's called Fallen Angel. Just came out in January. You're probably seeing this somewhat after that, but that's when it came out, and those are good books, and you should go read them. I'm going to announce that I'm going to be at Worldcon in Seattle this year, and I suspect several of us might be. So come see us there, and it's going to be a fun time. Otherwise, take it away, Allie.
Hi, everybody. I am Alexander Pitchford. I've been Amara tonight, now a drow of all things, which, sure, I didn't get, hands of flame, but I did apparently get some insane spell resistance. So I'm not really upset about that fact. But yeah, this has been fun. Thank you for joining us. We've got some other cool stuff coming down the pipe, so stay tuned.
I've been Rhiannon Held. Check out my books, the Silver series of werewolves, urban fantasy, under Rhiannon Held. And then under RZ Held, I have my short fiction and the Amsterdam Institute series of space opera novellas. So if you want to try something else a little bite size, try out one of those novellas.
So I'm going to leap in here. Normally, this is not my place, but you said it out loud. You said the words And so now I have to ask you, so do you know what Salune's gift was?
White hair.
Do you have a
Fashion.
protagonist in a series of novels who has white hair?
So was that lycanthropy that she gave?
It was indeed.
Oh my.
Holy shit.
Oh no.
Boy.
Oh.
Oh, yeah,
What
but
kind
of
Salune's gift. Yeah.
Just
now
have to
I'm
leap in there.
curious.
Terribly sorry. So
Yeah,
who is
okay,
next
go
in
on.
the order?
Come back next season to find out what kind of critter she turns into.
Joel, how are you
Everybody-
talking?
I've been Joel
bite
Everett,
size.
and
Bite
I am
size.
toast. But we'll see what happens next season. So thank you for coming along on this journey with us. Come check out our Discord and also check out the back catalog on YouTube. The channel's been running for several years, so there's a whole lot of cool content on there of various games.
Hi, I'm Randy, and when you need it, I'm over here softly singing in the corner, sending you a +1. So
Thanks, Bard. Thanks.
That is what
Back
you
to
do,
you,
Randy.
Chris.
All right, thank you. I'd like Aaron and Ed to give you both a chance to share some words of wisdom with us.
Is that like an outro, or did I have to come
Yeah.
up with an aphorism?
Whatever you want to say. This is your
Joel's
moment
a
to tell us
wonderful
whatever you'd like to say.
person. Don't listen to Bryce's Kikistos. Be a good person. Don't
She's
do a
not-
genocide. You can find me on Blue Sky, but mostly you can find at Aaron M. Evans, but mostly you can find me on the Dungeon Scrawlers Discord. You can join me on this channel on Mondays at 1:30 p.m. Pacific for concentration check with Trevor Bettis. Come get some co-writing done with us. You can also check out our podcast, Writing About Dragons and Shit, where we talk about craft and whatever strikes our fantasy. That's me and Trevor and B. Dave Walters. And if you like this nonsense, you should read the Brimstone Angels saga, which is available in ebook and audiobook still. And if you like a paper book, I recommend my new ones. The books, the Usurper series, Empire of Exiles, and Relics of Ruin, and the soon-to-come Season of Sacrifice.
Excellent. Thank you. And thank you again very much for coming and doing this. It was
It
an
was.
honor to have you in this skit.
A blast, even if I'm morally conflicted about some of it.
Fair enough. That's the whole purpose of these sorts of games. So I'm delighted that I was able to help you with that. All right. And now over to a man who I assure you is not at all morally conflicted, Ed Greenwood.
To be morally conflicted, you'd have to have morals. So, if you like the realms, hang out at Greenwood's Grotto if you use Discord. If you want to doses of realms lore, I put videos up on YouTube, and I'm also on my Patreon. I can't tell you about most of the things I'm working on because Hollywood really believes in NDAs, but I will say, if you want to see me play Elminster, Lisa Teague play the runaway bride, Victorina von Bordenheim, Keith Baker play Merix de Kenneth of Eberron, Tommy Gofton play Lohol Linvander of Amaria, and Luke Gygax play Melf of the Green Arrow from Orth, Land of Greyhawk. Check out Legacy of Worlds, and Season 2 will be coming out later this year. And I've just finished filming it, and I need to die.
Fair enough. It's hard to top that, Ed. It's hard to top that. And so, Rhiannon or Eric, who gets the last word tonight?
Give Rhiannon the last word.
Rhiannon?
Rhiannon's kind of our MVP, so go for it.
Yeah.
Chosen of 2 goddesses and a Disney princess.
Wow!
I'll go back to our Dungeon Scrawlers sign off, which is until next time, may your rolls and your word count if you're a writer be equally high.